Good evening. It's a Tuesday. That's not a Monday. But is a BIC podcast night, Eric. You know what this means, don't you?
No, I really don't.
Allow me to help you. I'll tell you what it means.
All right.
It means right here. Toronto Crash Out pregame show.
Yeah. You remember in 2011 when the Bruins won the Stanley Cup? And
I actually don't. I'm not even convinced that happened. You might have made that up, but sure.
And let's just say Vancouver, they were a little upset about it.
Big Hodges.
And they set some shit on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I am if I were living in the Toronto area, I would I'd move out for a couple of weeks.
No, Eric, you got this completely wrong. You understand, in a moment of anarchy, that is where the warlords rise. I shall be the new sector king. This will be glorious.
Yeah.
I look forward to next week when I show up with my crowd. I am now sector king.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be bad.
Hey, speak for yourself. I'd be highly entertained.
I mean,
looking forward to it. This will be great.
They can't hurt me from here. So, I mean,
do not even pretend that that's true, Eric. I'll have you know for a fact. For a fact. There are plenty of ways to hurt you.
Well, probably, but
I'm just saying, you're talking tough, and then what happens if by next week I'm wearing a crown, I am now the new warlord of the sector, and I've sent my emissary, Yannick, on a mission of mayo.
Oh, we don't like
with
that.
Your address as the destination.
No, I don't like that at all.
Fear it, Eric. Fear it.
Yeah.
I am not a benevolent warlord. I may be a man of peace, but I am not a benevolent warlord.
Maple Leaf fans are going to lose their minds.
Indeed. So, for the most part, I know the majority. There's a mix. So obviously, we've got a mix in the chat, and there's a lot of lives tonight. So we'll have some fun with it anyway. Look, you might be over in Geoff's trying to win prizes. He put Teapot in the thumbnail. That was very sneaky of him. You notice he didn't put himself in the thumbnail. He put Teapot in the thumbnail. That was sneaky. I saw that. Regardless. So we'll do a couple of the regular segments. I've got a couple of them set up. We've got the silly card of the week is back. Brandon, Bobbles and Ball Cards. He is on kid watching duty. So he's a little busy. He's a little occupied, but it's okay. We have Arock. We have his University of Guelph jersey in the corner. We have Ray Bork. We pretty much have everything we need. Good times.
So Ray came in, but I wasn't there because it was spur of the moment. It was last Saturday. I was out on a mountain bike ride. I was not scheduled to work. And he came in on the spur of the moment for something. And they were like, well, since you're here, let's do all the stuff that we have in the Ray Bork box. So they dragged out the Ray Bork box, and Ray signed everything, and they gave Ray a little money. And Ray said, all right, see you later, bye. Now I'm like, dude, I need to see Ray. I have money to give him. I have a jersey signed by one of the people who donated. I'm like, you're killing me here. And he's like, he just walked through the front door. What do you want me to do?
Stop him. Detain. Yeah. Tase him.
I'm going to try to hook up with him somehow and, meet him someplace or whatever. So I could give him the check and get the jersey signed. So
Eric, I thought we covered this on Friday. Yeah, I thought the next words out of your mouth should be like, I'm going to try to stalk.
Yeah.
And then boom, the rest of it takes care of itself.
Yeah. So I gotta have someone give Ray a call. I don't have Ray's phone number.
Wow.
So I got to get someone else to give Ray a little call and see if I can meet up with him somewhere and just hand him a check, take a quick picture, and get this jersey signed.
And all because you insisted on playing a game and check in with the tree.
Well, that was yesterday, and I wasn't going to bring that up, but thank you very much for bringing it up.
You talked about the bike ride, so you brought it up.
So, the tree just jumped out in front of me. Just, my shoulder kind of looks the same way, but I'm going to spare everyone from taking my shirt off. It just jumped out and went, ha!
As they do, as they often do.
And instead of hitting it with my face, I was able to get my forearm up and kind of bounced off it, and it was very enjoyable.
Have you considered the very real possibility? First of all, my response in our text message thread when you did reference that, I feel was the sage advice. The problem was you weren't going at it with enough speed. You have to establish dominance. The tree will not respect you if you try to divert. If you try to avoid the collision, the tree will not respect you.
I was going pretty darn quick, and things went awry very quickly. If I was going slower, I wouldn't have had a problem, but I was starting to lay down the power to get up this rock face, and everything it was just finished raining. Things were very slippery.
Now it's the rain. Now it's the slipperiness.
Front tire hit a root, and I just went everywhere. I just yard sailed. It was cool.
Wow.
But little sore today, but we're good to go. Plan on riding tomorrow.
We'll have to see. Who knows? Possibly more adventures of Eric crashing into a tree. Now, with that said, before I get into the rest of it, Eric, so chat, feel free, hit us alive. We can chat about whatever. I've got a couple small topics, but I got a couple of pickups, and then I'm going to do silly card of the week. So a couple of pickups first, then silly card of the week. So if you got anything pickups wise, feel free to grab it. But I'll show a couple of quick things. A couple of things from the land of the eBays. First one was actually kind of a fun one. This one was one that appeared via auction. And I remembered these from back in the day, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of want that. And the price point was good. So this is actually from 2001. It was the Upper Deck Evolution.
Okay.
And they had these different scratch cards. And you could actually, with the scratch cards, basically, you could redeem them for these different types of, you had jersey cards, you had autographs, and then you had the autographed jersey. So that's what this is. Sorry, this is the autographed jersey. And then it looks like in the middle, it actually looks like it's got a piece of the bat combo as well. So actually bat, jersey, and auto. So 3 pieces.
Yeah.
Three things.
Well, yeah, I was gonna kind of ask you about that, but I figured you knew more about it than me. But I was gonna ask, isn't that a bat, jersey, auto? On card auto, no sticker.
Yeah, they kind of in the early 2000s, Upper Deck was all on card. At that point.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a neat card. And Delgado, somebody who I could legitimately make an argument, has a Hall of Fame case, in my opinion, still. And we'll see what happens down the road, because he is eligible to be up again for the next veteran committee. They kind of call them era committees now, but he did actually secure enough votes to remain on that ballot. And I do think he should get a little more respect, because from the guys in that 90s, 2000 period of power, he was never linked to any steroids, and he was one season away from 500 home runs. And that's the problem with a lot of these guys. If you didn't quite make the milestone, you're kind of in that no man's land. But Fred McGriff finally getting in is helpful to the guy like Delgado. His problem is that he had a hip condition. Literally his last full season, he had 38 home runs. He had more than enough. He had plenty of gas left in the tank. So it's like, could have been. Who knows? Could have been Jeff. Feel like Eric is the real life version of Wile E. Coyote, except for the super genius. He does lack the super genius.
Yeah, I don't have any Acme products, but
I would love you to have some Acme products, Eric. We would take that sponsorship.
But I do seem to crash into things with about the same frequency as Wiley. So
indeed. Now you know what the best part about this, Eric? So first of all, early 2000s, love that. On card auto, love it. Again, from my era of watching the Jays, I did watch the World Series years, but this Delgado was like the mainstay power hitter of the majority of the days. Some dark days in Blue Jay land, but he was a consistent, great power hitter. I enjoyed him. And this card here, less than $20. Love that.
That's awesome for you, but isn't that a shame that this hobby is so messed up? We see this at work, right? You have this beautiful card. You have a fringe Hall of Famer, bat, game used jersey, not a player worn or not from any specific event, right? The crap that's out there now. and on-card auto for under $20, where you open up something new, and it's the red orange unicorn sniper yellow version. And if it has an auto, it's a sticker which looks like crap, and it has the fake patch from Dick's from no specific event, and they want and people are buying them for hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong? I mean, I understand rule number one is always the answer.
I was about to say,
yes,
we have a rule for this.
If you're not sure about rule number one, you go to rule number two and repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. But it just continues to prove this thing is really, really nice in every way. I think the design is great. This is, you also have a player that can put a nice autograph on a card, unlike today's player where you cannot make out anything that is on the card, on the 8x10, on the baseball, the hockey puck. You cannot make it out. I mean, this is really nice. And it's a shame that this is under $20 and the yellow, purple, red, rainbow, unicorn, sticker autoed fake patch jersey card is $3,000.
Well, you change your tune when it's the purple, pink unicorn, red 11. Just saying.
That's different.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's different.
But yes, under $20, and if it comes with the one touch double bonus, pretty sweet deal. That's a pretty sweet deal. Okay, so that's a situation, Eric, where I can't complain. We talk about how expensive the hobby is. Look, for somebody like me who was a Jays fan in the 90s and 2000s, Delgado was the dude. He was one of the guys.
Absolutely.
And under $20, I like it. I don't just like it, I love it.
You should. That's good for you. Something that good for you.
Second one, a little bit more expensive than the first one, but it's kind of a neat card, and it kind of fits into something I want to talk about in a minute. But I'll show it, and then I'll come back to it. But I want to reference it for a point that I want to make. So tonight's topic is a little bit loose. So good evening, Keith. Only Basement. Good evening. All right, second one. It's a cool card too for different reasons, but I'm going to come back to the theme of this one. The Delgado kind of plays into it as well, but this one is more specific to it. So here's one of the Juan Sotos. This one's from Transcendent. This one is game used, but this is like a super. So by contrast to the first one, Eric, Transcendent is like a $3,000 box or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So the good news is it is game used. That's the good news. The good news is it is game used, and it is an on-card auto. So now look at the comparison, okay?
Right.
So this is on card, and it is game used, and it's got 2 pieces of memorabilia.
Yep.
$20.
Yep.
This one's like $260.
No,
which isn't too bad for Soto, actually, all things considered for Soto. But it is from like a $3,000 box or $4,000 box. So, the fact that it's game used, you hope so.
Yeah.
You kind of hope so.
Right. Yeah. But, you can't even believe them anymore. So,
yeah. I do like the fact also that, so for me, I'll mention this right now and I'll come back to it. The main reason I'm targeting some of these cards, I have the Vladdy Jr. card that I had a little while ago that was a similar thing with Transcendent. I'm trying to get, so for the collections that I have, Delgado is actually a more expansive collection that I have. I've kind of been picking up Delgados. I may grab it tonight. I've got a Z folio with a bunch of Delgados in it, and I have like hundreds of cards for him. But with Soto and a lot of these guys, if I decide I'm going to collect them, I'm not going to collect it the way I do with Medano. I'm being a lot more picky. What I'm trying to do with this is basically between Transcendent and Dynasty, which are kind of really high-end products. I basically am just interested in like a card or two from each one of his teams. I'm not interested in like having 500 cards. Is basically what I'm getting at. No. I'm looking for minimum amount, so I'm being really picky. I'm looking for these memorabilia on card autos, which I like. But then so this is a Mets one, and then I have a Washington Nationals one that is going to be coming in a future mail day here. He was played for the Padres. I got one of those. I think the only one I'm missing. I don't think I have one with Soto with the Yankees. I do hate the Yankees, but it is one of the teams he's played for.
Right.
So that's like those 4 would be like 4 cards that I would have in like a little mini collection. So instead of 500 cards, I'm looking for like 4 specific cards that fit a theme that I'm trying to go with.
And I give him credit. That's a really nice autograph.
Yeah, he's got two versions of that auto. That one's not too bad. It's still fairly clean, and I like the fact that at least it's a nice card, good aesthetic. But because I'm only looking for a handful of cards, I get to be really picky about which cards. I don't just have to settle for whatever is out there. I can kind of pick and choose. They are going to cost me more per card, but the good news is I don't need 50 cards. I don't need 100 cards. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for a handful that will get the job done and give me a nice little mini display that I can have, and that's good enough for me. So any pickups you picked up recently?
Yeah, I get so got to get Reggie to sign this. I want to get every puck associated with him signed, and I have quite a few. And this is a Canada Cup 84 puck that just came in, so I get him to sign this next time I see him. I'll add to the collection. He was on the 84 Canada Cup team that won, and had a really good tournament. So definitely get him to sign that. And the other thing was I didn't quote need this because we don't really need any of it, but
I think you need it.
The price was very fair, and this thing looked like it was made yesterday, and it's a Gordie Howe 1,000 point WHA card. I mean, it is so perfect that if I was a grader, if I was someone that would rush out and get cards graded, this would be in the next batch without a doubt. I would have this graded. It's phenomenal. So I was like, I can't just let that go off to someone else's house. That's too perfect. And so throw it in the pile.
Did you say 1,000 point? Is that what the front of it is for?
Yeah, you see where it says 1,000?
No, I can see the 1,000, but I'm like, by the time he was in the WHA, he had like 1,700 points or something.
It's 1,000th goal, I meant to say.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I was sitting there like, yeah, he well past 1,000 points.
So I misspoke. I'm sorry. 1,000th goal. Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I just misspoke a little. Thanks for catching that. But yeah, I mean, it's got the facsimile autograph, which is, perfect. It's, definitely his. It's, sometimes these facsimile autographs, I have pieces all over here of, Bruins players that, things came out in the past. And let me tell you, I have their real autographs. I've met these people. These autographs on these 1970 pieces are not theirs. So,
yeah.
But this really, that is Gordie's auto on there, facsimile as it is. It really is his though. So that's cool.
One of the tricks that used to be the case, I don't know about the other ones, but Topps used to use the facsimile used to be based on what they wrote, what they used to sign the contract, because you got basically a template. You've got something there that you can use. That's why sometimes you get some really kind of weird facsimile, like, well, he's not really going to write his name that way. Well, in the contract he did, initially, early days. Yeah. So sometimes we'll see some early versions of that. So technically it is real, but if you were at the ballpark, the autograph you get would be like trimmed down. It wouldn't be like their full legal name or whatever. Go ahead.
One of my favorite questions when I meet a lot of the people that I get to meet is your legal autograph when you sign for a home or a car, whatever, at the bank, is that autograph different than the one you signed fans? And it's a 50-50 split so far, where it's like, yeah, I got a completely different autograph when I'm signing important documents versus when I throw this in here, my number's in there, blah blah blah. And other people are like, nope, that's it, that's everywhere I go, that's it. So there is plenty of players, a large number of players that their quote legal autograph is much different than what you'll see on the football, baseball, basketball, hockey puck, etc.
Indeed. Sven says, anyone else here like me looking through garbage for looking for 20-ounce Coke bottles to get the Panini stickers? I actually saw a picture of this. So I guess for is it Coke bottles or Coke cans? I assume it's the bottles. So it's like probably one of these deals, but like the normal size. And I think they're like Panini stickers in them for like the World Cup. I think it was World Cup. I think I saw like a picture. Let me see if I can confirm. I thought I saw it on the Discord. But
I know
I think I know
nothing.
what he's talking about.
I know nothing of this. I can't say one way or another.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, like, obviously, for the big show, for obviously like World Cup, they're going to have some
Oh,
promotional material.
oh,
Although, if they tone down on it, Bobby would like to see way more promotional material, but
well,
there's
yeah.
still a handful that will still do some, but it's few and far between. But for World Cup, there totally is stuff. I'm surprised there isn't a little bit more. I'm surprised you can't get stuff in chips or whatever.
Mm.
Dan here is I'm in an airport. There you go, Dan. Eric's on a boat.
Yeah, where are you, Carlos?
Mega yacht.
Mega yacht. All right, cool.
Just saying.
So we all know where we are. That's
How do you think I'm able to afford those Josh Rosens?
well, I've questioned.
We're talking mega yacht money, man.
I've had some questions. Let's just say that, okay?
Yep. Listen, I sold out to big diabetes.
Let
Let me tell you, it's working. It's working. It's working real good. You can't even stoop. Eric's on an island symbolically, always. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
I live on my own little island. I'll give you that.
Yes. Well, Dan, I appreciate Dan joining us. Dan is joining us, obviously heading out of the airport heading to the land where fries, we don't have to say French. It's just fries.
Fries.
It's just fries over there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So, enjoy, have fun, obviously. I did record the episode, so I'm doing this on a Tuesday, in part because we recorded the Cardboard Cynics last night. So I think Dan mentioned that I believe it should be active tomorrow morning. So little precursor to that, I will say, quick thing. We had some fun with the episode, some good stuff on there. I might ruffle a couple feathers, allegedly.
Oh,
Maybe. Can't say one way or the other.
Do
I will say one quick addendum, though. Go ahead.
do you say anything disparaging about moi?
Literally every time I talk to you or about you.
Well, that's what I mean. But on the show, did you talk disparaging?
Well, I did allude. Yes, I did allude to you in a negative light.
Okay,
on at least a few occasions.
Okay, just want to make sure that we're keeping everything on track. Good.
Consistency is important. Yes, consistency is key. Absolutely. Yes. No question. No doubt. But I mean other feathers other than yours. I will say, though, as quick addendum, there is one thing that I do make reference to. So if you do check out, by the time it goes live, I'll link to it in the channel. So we'll include that on there. One thing I'll say, though, and this is actually an annoying thing for me, and it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for it. Whenever I see like a podcast or something, and somebody says something that it's like, oh, I'm going to talk about this later, I always save the bookmark. And I do make reference to something in there and try to cite, but I could not. I was actually spent this afternoon. I was actually trying to figure out what it was. And I was like, I swear I had the link. I was looking for it, could not find it. And that's frustrating to me because I'm like 90% sure that I cited the correct, individual who said it, but I could be mistaken. So if anybody sees the episode and in fact somebody else said it, correct me, because I normally have the link and I'll be like, yeah, you can hear it here. And then I can cite it directly, but that's totally my mistake. So my bad, just in advance. I'm just letting you know. Oh, that wasn't who said it. Yes, I understand. I'm telling you in advance. That's a real possibility. If so, just correct me and remind me who it was, because I do make a quick reference in there. That's it. Just a quick addendum ahead of time. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's a good thing I'm 5,000 miles away when the next Cardboard Cynics drops. That's right. Dan is fleeing the country to avoid.
Oh,
think about it, Eric. He's fleeing the country.
What did you say?
Look, Eric, all I'm saying is, you think the Toronto crash out is, if Mitch Marner advances Stanley Cup Finals, a big deal. Dan is fleeing the country. Dan is fleeing the United States because it's not safe. You thought the United States was safe? It is not safe. You're not safe. Your precious cookies are not safe.
Oh, no.
Fear it. Fear it all. I tagged Theo so you can do a response to it. Yes. Infinite content loop. I love it. Well, that's not even taking account.
You had a good show. That's excellent. Good.
Yes. So we'll, like I said, link in the description to when the time is right. Once it goes live, and then also I'll add it to the playlist on the channel. I got a playlist, so I'll include it on there as well. So it'll be good. Well, a little bit of fun with that. And one of the other things I was talking about on there was that I am having a little bit of fun working on the other channel, adding some stuff to the wrestling. But I do kind of want to start structuring it a little bit, because I do want to kind of do a couple more videos on there. And quick other thing I want to mention tonight here, and then right after I mention this, we'll talk about it more in a minute, And by the way, Chad, feel free to kind of chime in. Well, it's a conversation. We'll go back and forth with you. And once the game starts, we'll hang out for a little bit when the game starts, because again, the crash out could be anytime. But we're warming up towards the crash out. We haven't gotten there yet. It hasn't started.
I still want Colorado to win, but
it's gonna be really hard though. They screwed this up because they were leading 3-0 in the last game.
Yeah,
they were in control. They were literally in control.
I honestly don't understand. Now, losing Cale Makar for the first 2 games, and I believe he's the best all-around player in the world. That's definitely going to affect how you play and how the game goes. But I did not think that team would tank because he wasn't there. And, I don't know what his injury is or what his situation is, but he was in the last game and they were, like you said, they were winning and playing well, and then they weren't.
Yeah, but that's my problem, Eric, is that I don't care. Like, he could drop dead. That sucks for them. That's a problem. But like, if you're up 3-0, then just play a clean team defensive game. Like, but they were like, I didn't get a chance to watch. I watched some of the highlights. It looked like they were playing scared. Well, playing scared, the 3-0 lead, we joke about it, but it's the worst lead in hockey because it can evaporate super quick if you allow it to.
Kills the Bruins every game.
Yeah. So it's like, you want to basically, you don't have to pour it on, but you can't go the hockey equivalent of playing prevent defense. That will never work. That literally never works. You cannot play scared.
And Vegas is we're going to bring it to you team. That's what they do, especially with Tortorella now coaching. It's we don't care what the score is. We are going to attack, and we're going to bang bodies, and we're going to shove this right down your throat. And I like Vegas, but I did not think that. I mean, you and I both have, the Avs over the Avs over Vegas. So
it was a reasonable call at the time.
Yeah.
It's just they haven't played up to that standard.
It's just crazy. Absolutely.
Yep. So we'll see. There's an opportunity for that crash out. We'll find out. We'll find out in a little bit. Yeah. But yes, so I was going to say is that, I want to start working on that structure. And one of the things, and I'll kind of maybe put a video together for this, and that's what I want to find out, is that I still like doing videos on the sports card stuff, but I was mentioning it with Dan when we were doing the podcast, is that, but I've already done so many videos. I've talked about almost every topic I want to talk about. It requires something like, the Mangini comment, then he made a video, and then I make a response to the video. I still have fun doing that. The response videos are fun. I can have a lot of fun with that. But other than that, like, between, the podcast and the live streams, I pretty much cover what I want to talk about. Like, I don't feel like a need to do a lot of standalone videos anymore. So it's like almost, I won't say, Eric, that I've lost the challenge, because I do still have I have a passion for creating wonderful, overlays, including making sure that we see that wonderful University of Guelph hockey jersey that you're wearing with Ray Bork.
Not real.
So I still have little joys and little things that I can bring to the table. But I got to tell you, like, the video ideas, like, comparatively to what it was, is like, oh, I could do that. I already made that video. Oh, I could made that video too. Yeah, already did that one.
Well, you've been at this now for, we'll say, 5-6 years on this platform. I think it's like 6 years for this.
Oh no, it's almost 8.
Is it 8 for cards?
Yes.
Okay. So for you, it's 8 for cards. I thought you did a year before. I ended up getting sucked into it. So yeah, I mean, 8 years. You've done a lot.
Truth, Keith.
And you've done a lot of shows.
Almost 1,300 videos.
Yeah, sooner or later,
181 podcasts.
Every top. That's why we praise the content gods, because it's like, correct, what the hell else are we going to talk about? Yep. So we wait for something to happen, and then we can discuss that.
Yeah, approaching 300 live streams. Official. I'm talking about from the official BIC live stream canon, which, based on the average length of the live stream, is approximately 456 years.
Roughly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Especially if you factor in the early ones.
Mm-hmm. They may still be going on, Eric. I'm not convinced. There could be could be happening in parallel universes, and Carlos may still be hosting a few of those right now as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple that we did on a Sunday night that were like 7 hours, and it's like, we got to work in the morning. Oh, wait a minute, it is morning. Like,
Listen, work is a construct.
I have to
Work
work
is a concept.
I have to go to work shortly.
Eric, like sleep, work is for the weak.
Yeah, yeah. Those was poor choice. Some poor choices were made back then. On Sunday.
No regrets.
No
regrets.
No regrets.
Dad says that my 3-year anniversary is June 4th. Nice, Dad. Nice. So listen, it is what it is. I'm not going anywhere. To be honest, still on track to kind of do the regular. Actually, going to be pretty close so far, Eric. Based on this year, so far it's going to be pretty close to last year's video total. Believe it or not. But I just haven't felt like I've done it's weird because I don't feel like I've done as many videos, but then I go look at the numbers. The numbers seem to be telling me something else. Like, actually, it's pretty close.
I think you've been pretty busy, man, with now that you're doing this thing with Dan, I mean, that's 3 official shows. And then you started the wrestling thing again, because you and your buddy were doing wrestling for a bit. And this is kind of a new thing. So I don't know if you count that as something brand new or continuance or part 2 of what you were doing. I don't know.
This is going to be Eric. This is a brand new thing because, Eric, secretly my plan is to accelerate the path because we're getting close. I'm going to be close to 500 podcast episodes across multiple platforms.
Crazy.
The numbers are racking up. I'm racking up some GOAT numbers here, man. It's happening. I'm telling you. Dan says, if nothing else, Eric, they will not question the longevity and they will not question the volume.
No, I don't think they can now. Think about how many people were doing shows 5 years ago. They're mostly all gone.
Yes. Attrition, Eric. Eric, you know what that means? That means I win by the best way to win there is.
And
default.
And the fact that not only have you continued the Friday show for all these years, you keep adding more.
Oh, we're not done. The content gods have not appeased, Eric. They demand sacrifice.
So, when you think about how many shows were out there, good God, there was so many. So many. I mean, any day that you could have watched 50 shows regarding, cards, live streams, with podcast, whatever, 50 shows a day, every single day. I don't know. I mean, it was just nuts.
There was, yeah. I'm going to read a couple of comments, but then I got a reference for you. See if you remember this one. Dan here says, I'm going to do a giveaway video for the 3-year anniversary. The bribes begin. We love bribes. Love the bribes.
I'll take bribes.
Keith says, the Carlos verse. Appreciate you. Sports Guru, good evening. But yes, what I was going to say was, it reminds me. So one of from the Rocky movies, obviously there's a lot of ones, and I'd be curious, Chad, which one's your favorite? By the way, 5 doesn't exist. It doesn't count. 5 is trash. 5 is trash.
Thank you. You and I rarely agree. I'm glad to know that we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. So 1 to 4 is correct. That's fine.
Yes.
And then Rocky Balboa was actually solid. I really like Rocky Balboa. I think they did a good job.
Didn't want to like it, but I did.
It was solid. I think that Stallone got the right. He basically corrected 5. He basically retconned 5 and just pretend it didn't happen and just be like, we're just going to ignore that. Wait, did you have brain? We're just going to ignore that. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen. Tommy Morrison, Tommy Gunn. Nope. Didn't happen. No idea what you're talking about. Goodbye. But in Rocky Balboa, he was when Rocky Balboa was pitching the idea of doing some boxing fights, Paulie, said, what, you haven't peaked yet? That was the question he asked. And you know what, Eric? I haven't peaked yet.
There you go.
I ain't done.
You still got a little something left in the basement?
I got endless amounts of bile. Yeah. So much bile. So much. I haven't even warmed up. That's what keeps me going. That in the spirit of the content gods, it flows through my veins. I'm here for it. So yes, from that perspective, I'm still good. But I do like the idea of having a new challenge, which is where that other channel kind of plays into it a little bit. That's fun. If it gives me a little bit of a challenge.
If you're not starting your wrestling channel episodes off with Mick Foley talking to you, then you're not as smart as I thought you were.
It is an option. I can definitely do that. It would be kind of awkward. It's like, why is Mick Foley talking with some other random dude?
Well,
but he's referencing you. So
he's talking to you. He's like, "Hey, Carlos."
True. It is true. That is true.
If you're doing
Eric, that's actually a solid idea. So I only did the first episode. In the first episode, I had a very specific agenda. But that is a solid idea. But Eric, write this down. That is a solid idea by you.
If I'm doing a wrestling show and I have Mick Foley saying, "Hey, Carlos," and talking to me, I'm starting every wrestling podcast with that. That is how everyone starts.
And not only that, I will say.
And not that you really need it, but you have my permission to use that footage.
Oh, wonderful. I will say also doubly appropriate because Mick Foley made his debut with AEW in this past weekend's pay-per-view.
He did no, sir. What did he do?
He's gonna be like the MC for the pre-show. So he's gonna work with Renee Paquette and a couple of the guys on the broadcast. Okay. Yeah, he kind of became disillusioned with WWE and he kind of basically, politely told him off. And then he apparently he's known Tony Khan for years. And Tony Khan is like, well, if you'd be interested, I would be more than happy to offer you a job if you would like to do something. They did the show on so Chad, I'll only spend a minute on this. So they did the show on Sunday in New York, and they've got basically a tennis stadium that they use for it. They got about 15,000 for it. So good crowd, nice loud crowd, very good show, excellent show. So I would say this show has been a critical darling. The critics have liked it. They very much appreciate it. So they've enjoyed that. And then, he made his debut on the show, doing a little commentary with Renee at the beginning, just to start the show off, to get everybody warmed up. Got a nice welcome, and he got an official graphic. So Mick Foley is now all elite.
Yeah, good for him.
Yep.
I just hope, because he's a little healthier now, he's lost some weight. I really hope he doesn't think even for a second he can take a bump.
Oh, he will try. He will try.
No,
he will try. He's Mick Foley, Eric. He is Mick Foley. He is like you, a bicycle and tree.
He really should not ever, ever, ever take a bump again.
You should never get on a bicycle again. And yet, both these things are going to happen.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah. So can we see the Foley video? Yes. Yes, you can.
Carlos, hey, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley. I know I don't know you, but can I ask you a favor? Can you do something about this guy? Get him away from me. What a pain in the... Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Just do something. Thanks.
That's how every show should start.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is, what are your thoughts on purchasing refractors from the 90s, and how concerned would you be with the discoloration occurring over time? So, my thoughts on purchasing refractors from the 90s, I'm literally collecting a set. I've collected actually a couple of refractor sets, so obviously I'm okay with it. However, to the second part of your question, how concerned would you be with discoloration occurring over time? I'm not concerned. Why? Because it's going to happen. It's pretty much an environmental thing. It is so difficult to prevent it. There are ones that I've obviously avoided it, but I have seen humidity, light. Nobody is 100% sure exactly which one of the factors is the one. But there's a couple different. So there's an issue with the way the material was done in the chromium. Almost all of them will wind up that way eventually. If you give it enough time, almost all of them will end up being the Incredible Hulk.
I've seen some that are just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, and it'll happen. Almost like you can try. Like if you want, you can do a hyperbaric chamber. Like try to control the environment as much as you can, and maybe it'll hold off for a while. Some of them have held up pretty well, but
here we are 30 years later, though, and the majority of them are still fine. But there are some that are green as the Hulk, and they are just destroyed.
I think it depends, Eric, because some of the early years refractors from the 90s, those ones have actually, a lot of them for some of the years in particular, are particularly prone to it. So like 1994 Bowman Best, that was the first year Bowman Best. I actually opened an unopened box years and years and years ago. It was in my box in basically a closet. I had basically a shelving unit and a bunch of like cardboards, 1,600 count boxes. I pulled it out a couple of years ago. Every single one of them was green. All of them.
Even though they were in your closet. Yeah.
Yep. Now the problem is that where I was, so this is pre my getting the heat pump. So we have a fair bit of humidity. So I think humidity was the bigger factor with those ones. And yeah, it's most of the cards I pulled them out and their cards are looking fine. But the refractors, Incredible Hulk. Everybody's a Marvel character. Why? No idea. And they look pretty, and unfortunately they look pretty ugly. And I like 94 Bowman's Best. I think it's a cool looking set. I like it. But yeah, they all became the Incredible Hulk. So it happens. So yeah, so to answer your question, am I concerned? I'm not concerned about it, because for a lot of them, it's just going to happen. You're not going to have much say in it. Like, if you, what I would say though is maybe don't pay like a crazy premium for one that hasn't greened, because it may still do so someday. And you may, don't pay a premium for that, because it could still happen. And then you lost the premium for nothing.
I wonder if the graded ones will turn green, because
that's kind of the hope for some folks. I still think they will. I think some of them still will. It does, like I said, we haven't completely pinned down the exact rhyme or reason. If we knew the exact reason why, you could mitigate it. You could use silica packs. You could do whatever you think you need to do. But keep it out of the light, whatever it is. But you got to know exactly the cause. You got to know exactly what causes it and what makes certain ones more prone to it than others. That would help. I like Sven's suggestion, but Sven, I don't know if you've seen a lot of the shows that involve wrestling fans. That would get the platform canceled. There are some sites that cannot be unseen. And we're already on the cusp all the time of having a desire to have our retinas burned out. This would be like, everyone would be like, I'd like laser surgery, but I want you to take it off. Turn it off. Just saying. Some sites cannot be unseen. Good evening, Laura. Good evening, Paul. Wanted to have one last match a year ago, and his doctors told him no. Yeah. I would hope they would, but like I said, it's Mick Foley again. Eric's doctors told him no. He hadn't even asked the question. They just started with no.
My back surgeons told me that if I need back surgery again, find another doctor.
And yet, onto the bicycle it is. And Eric's going to strap a rocket pack to it.
I'm not doing that
yet. So, Eric, would you like to do silly card of the week?
I would.
All right. So we're off on silly card of the week. This will be a community post. It will be available on the channel. Show you a couple of cards. You pick whichever one you deem the silliest. That'll be the options for this week. Let's take a look. Option number 1. Explain, Eric. Everything's OPG.
Everything is OPG. And I grew up in the 80s. And one of my favorite shows growing up was Different Strokes. And it's not exact, but when I saw this, all I could think about is calling this the "What You Talking About" Willis card. Screwdlin was a really good player, but this look of kind of just snooty, what you talking about Willis kind of a thing. So I don't know. I came upon it recently. I hadn't seen it before. I just was putting some stuff away at the shop and saw it. Left it at the shop, Carlos. No claw. Okay. Photos are free. Photos are free. And
where's the penny sleeve, Eric? Where's the top loader? What are we doing?
Yeah, it ended up in a box, just the way it was. But anyways, I thought that was a very silly face for him to have been caught making and putting on a card. So, but yes, what you talking about, Willis, is what kept coming to mind.
I see. Moose.
Yeah. Why not?
This is one of those. It's actually, I talk about one of the rules we have is no politics. However, this is a 1992 decision card from the election night, referencing the election of 1912 that Teddy Roosevelt was part of. It was actually a 3-horse race in 1912, if you know your history.
Race.
Yes. And it was the Bull Moose Party, as you may recall. So this is a situation where votes were siphoned to the third party candidate who actually got a fair bit of votes, and it kind of altered the result of the 1912 election. I believe it was Woodrow Wilson, it was Teddy Roosevelt, and it was what was the name? Taft. I think it was William Howard Taft.
Oh,
I got to double check that, but I think it was Taft.
Taft had his summer home. The summer White House was in my hometown of Beverly, Massachusetts. And Taft was also our heaviest president. He was a big lad. He definitely had diabetes.
Diabetes, that's right. But he did have a very interesting result there. But yeah, you actually had Woodrow Wilson, who ended up winning that one, Theodore Roosevelt, who was there, and then William Howard Taft. So you had basically they were like three main candidates.
And Taft is also seen by historians as probably our worst president. So
I think given what I know about American history, I would disagree with that. It's a bad comp. I could come up with worse, a lot worse. William Howard Taft later became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Exactly. Fair. But the moose is actually accurate and actually plays into it. And it's actually kind of funny that in that set, they actually had the moose. They literally had a moose.
There you go.
Yep. And a brief little history lesson, Eric. Hashtag scholarship.
Love the scholarship.
So there you go. A couple of options, but it is in fact the moose. And look, I'm in the Canadians, so gotta have the mooses.
You gotta have the Mises.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So there you go. So you got choices. We'll have the community post on there. You can pick your favorite, whichever one you deem. And then, like I said, Bobbles will be back next week, and he'll get a chance to give his 2 cents. But right now, like I said, he's busy.
He is.
He's working on some very important things.
He is, and I'm quite jealous.
Good. Well, you could always have him send over the kids. You could be like, you could do some work. That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they want to, drive for several hours to get to my house just so I can hang out with them. I don't think I'm that cool.
Oh, no, you're not.
No.
Dan says Taft is also first president throughout the first pitch of the baseball game. See, we're getting all the hashtags going. Thank you, Dan. I like it. But yeah, very interesting, by the way. Back in my university days.
Not a real place.
I did, in fact, read a couple of books about the 1912 election. So I'm a little rusty, but I actually, Eric, believe it or not, I do actually remember some of that from many moons ago.
Yeah.
I'm a little rusty, but I did, in fact, study that a little bit.
You probably know a little bit more about it than even I.
Yeah. So there is some fascinating ones. It's just the fact it was, like I said, like a 3-horse race, basically. It was very interesting kind of situation, the way that worked out. But it's like, it is what it is. Griffith Stadium in Washington, indeed. So, chap, curious, what's going on with you folks? What's on your mind? We've talked about it. I did mention it a little earlier, and I can circle back around to it. We can talk about this topic at least for a little bit again until the hockey game starts. But right now, I think I'm feeling it again. It's being mentioned and referenced in a lot of things. We're back to we're really facing an affordability crisis. We talk about it. We talk about the price of the boxes. We talk about the price of the singles. Now, hopefully, you saw when I did the pickup thing. I just showed you that Delgado card is going to be a really fun card. I'm going to get it. I'm going to enjoy talking about it. When I get the video, I'll talk about it. I want to talk about Delgado. And it's a cool card. It was under $20.
Crazy.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's it. I think for most folks, $20 is still within the realm of reason. It's not, it's a reasonable amount. So I still think there's stuff out there, but it's like, I think the disappointment is that we would like to have exactly what we want when we want it. And when we're getting priced out of that kind of sucks. It doesn't feel good. I'll give you an example, because I always talked about that I love collecting the watches. That's a big thing for me. Well, that stuff got more expensive. Like, to begin with, watches, luxury watches, vintage watches and all this stuff. Those are luxuries. You don't need it. Like, you want the time, here you go. This thing can give you the time. The computer will give you the time. This is a Garmin little, step. I just picked this up. But this will give you the time. But if you want to wear, a watch that you have to wind up or do whatever with, that's a luxury. It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. A lot of those things are. Truthfully, even this is a luxury because, again, you only need one thing to keep time. You don't need 15 things. The point that I'm making is that even in that hobby, which was always a luxury, the price has crept up. And it depends on what you're trying to collect. It depends on what you're trying to get your hands on. But I'll give you a good example. One thing that was always a value play, and stop me if this sounds familiar. For watches, it is pre-owned. People would look to pre-owned. They'd say, okay, instead of paying, the brand new price going in the store and then paying the full. Now, it's cool in the store because then you get the box, you get everything with it. And, depending on what it is, they might, pour your drink, size it for you. You get an experience to go along with it. That's fine. But you are paying for it. Like, there is a premium to that. But if you buy it pre-owned, well, then, effectively somebody is taking the car off the lot and you're paying the lesser price because it's already taken a little bit of a depreciation. But what happens is eventually, as the prices kept going up, it kind of dragged everything else up with it. So I'll give you an example. A lot of my main watch buying that I was doing was right around and before my 30th birthday. So now it's been a little while for me. So I'll be 43 in July this year. But around that time, I had disposable income. I was doing my stuff. I hadn't bought the house yet, so I had a little bit of money kicking around, so I could buy some stuff. I decided to buy myself my Rolex Datejust. I have a Rolex Datejust, but it was pre-owned, and actually, it's a birth year watch. So I was very I used a strategery, Eric. I was looking for something specific. When I saw it was a birth year watch for me, I was like, that actually adds to it. That to me, that's cooler. I thought, I was like, that's cool. But because it's pre-owned, I got it for like $2,400 US, which you think, okay, for Rolex, it's not that bad. It's not really, no. But even because pre-owned or not, today,
yeah,
it's doubled and tripled in price. Oh, but it's still pre-owned. Yeah, but the price of everything also went up. So as a result, even the pre-owned ones got dragged up with it because, well, it was the affordable alternative, but now to buy the same watch, I'd have to pay $6,000 or $7,000. Right. Well, that's a lot more money. So if you think in your head, whoa, $7,000, now that's a decision. I got to think about that one a little bit. It was a lot of money before. I'm not saying $2,400 is nothing, because it isn't. It's something, but it has tripled in price, and that's for something with pre-owned. That was the affordable alternative, has tripled in price. So I'm using that as an example. I'm saying, but now look at what we're doing in sports cards. Look at what we're doing in the vintages. What's happened? Like the Mickey Mantle card hasn't decreased. The 52 tops keeps going up. You want the one that's torn in half. The price went up. It happened. Mike here says Fanatics wants to 10 times the hobby by putting less product in the box and charging you 10 times the price. Yes, and 10 times.
Yeah, once. Yes. That's what they've done.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Remember, I showed you two cards on two ends of the spectrum. I showed you two on-card autograph memorabilia cards, two different ones. Now, obviously, Soto is a current player. He's a star in today's game. And by the way, he had a little bit of an injury to begin the season. He's actually performing pretty well, all things considered. The Mets are terrible, but he's actually performing well. And I'll tell you, one of the things I saw, he recently had his 250th home run.
Okay.
He's 27 years old. That's actually really good at this stage, in his career. For a guy who's not actually considered a home run hitter, it's actually pretty good to be at 250 home runs. He also have 100 steals. And they looked at the amount. So there was a stat specifically, because obviously we've got a million variations of stats now. But I think I saw like a thing where somebody posted players to have 250 home runs, 100 steals, and like 900 walks before like the age of 30 or whatever it was. And it was like 5 guys. And they include some of the best of the best. And Soto was on that list. So the thing is, the Mets signed him for that long term for all that money because he's so young and he's such a good hitter. And that's what they're looking for. That's what they wanted. So, right. But the point is, so that Soto card is a very cool card. Of course, it's going to cost me more than the Delgado, because Delgado is yesterday's news, and in today's game, nobody's paying attention to that. So I understand. But at the same time, the reason, Eric, that card is $260 is not because it's Soto. It is because it's Soto, but it's also not. Mm-hmm. It's because it's transcendent. It's because it's a really high-end product. So as a result, the price of the card, if it had been like regular tops and autograph, memorabilia of Soto, it would still be cool. And it would still, by the way, it would still cost a little bit, but it would actually cost less. Oh, but it's the same concept. Why? Well, Transcendent is a really expensive box. It's like the cup. I can take an autograph in the cup, and I can take an autograph in like, O-Pee-Chee.
Right.
There's a difference in price point, but it's the same guy, and it's an autograph. Yes, yeah. But one is the cup and one is not.
Yeah.
It's the brand. The brand is actually what's carrying some of the price. It's actually tacking on additional cost.
No doubt.
Yeah. So that's the factor. That's part of your increased cost. It's part of what we're talking about.
That with with the autographs, but also with like the patch and jersey pieces and things. You may get a solid color, little tiny swatch of something in the cup, and it costs you hundreds. Mm-hmm. And you buy it in a lesser product, and it's a patch, and it's got 3 colors, and it's got threads, and it's got this, and it's huge, and blah, blah, blah. And you pay half the price. And you go, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. talk about eye appeal. It's like my eye appeal says this O-Pee-Chee product is way nicer than this cup product. But the cool kids say that no, just damn your lying eyes. Go with the cup. You got to have the cup. And it's like, no, I don't.
Good VCC, yes. A rare Tuesday Night Live. It is true. Good eating. That's soda's never going to be big in the hobby because he's not a likable player. He wasn't a likable player when he was selling for a lot more. It's just a matter of timing and what he's doing at the time. The 4 different teams is true, but now he's settled in for the Mets for a while. The problem is the Mets are terrible right now. The likable player thing is a factor, but I think you have to remember something. So here's the thing. I don't disagree with this concept. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Soto as being likable or unlikable. I like the fact he's a bit of a dick to some people. But here's the thing. Barry Bonds was an asshole. Roger Clemens was an asshole. There's a lot of these guys who are. A lot of the guys who are jerks. Willie Mays wasn't the friendliest guy either. So does that mean he's a bad player? Does that mean Willie Mays should be $5? He wasn't a likable guy all the time. Oh, but he had a great smile. So what? You can manufacture a smile. There's guys that can manufacture a smile, Eric. And listen, I can go get you a Tom Brady smile picture if you want. Tom Brady is not a swell fella.
Tom Brady owes
is he so in the footballs? So help me out, Eric. In the footballs, is Tom Brady not sellable?
Oh no, he's sellable.
Okay, but let me before lest someone's going to respond and say, oh, but he's in the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Okay, fine. Let's take him off the table then. Let's take him off the table. Okay.
He owes me money.
In the top corner, the not swell fella, the original not swell fella, the proper not swell fella. You're telling me these cards don't sell for decent amounts? There's some of those 90s cards that actually go for pretty good money. The man stole from welfare.
And he's a renowned photographer.
Yes. So my question, I'm posing a question. We do care about likability. I'm not saying no. It is a factor. It is a piece of the puzzle. But if you play well enough, and there is something to be said for that too. And also public perception can change on a dime. Doesn't take much. Kobe wasn't the nicest guy in the world either. And after he died, all of a sudden, everybody loves Kobe. Trust me, I was there. I remember listening to it. All of a sudden, are you sure? You sure? Okay. Whatever, man. Look, I'm not going to argue with you. Whatever. But I'm just saying, I remember some of the same people that were weeping didn't like Kobe for a while either. Kobe wanted out of LA. There were some issues. It wasn't always sunshine and rainbows. Not all the time.
He was accused of doing something pretty horrible that he kind of admitted to in his letter, apologizing for it, and then had to give his wife a really big diamond. So yeah, Kobe Bryant was not a swell fella.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not a swell fella, and probably committed a crime.
Yep. Mike says, I agree with Dan. If Soto would ever give me the Soto shuffle and I was pitching, I'd have to drill him. Yeah, you can do it. Why not?
Well, you said about perceptions change.
They do.
So I did not spend a great deal of time with him, just a couple of hours, and it was very, very busy. But I spent a couple hours with Roger Clemens a couple of weeks ago. That man could not have been nicer. I was expecting him to be very standoffish, gruff, grumpy, just I'm here for a paycheck, sign stuff, here you go. He could not have been nicer to every single fan, to us, I have a much different outlook on Roger Clemens, the man, than I did beforehand. I was not excited to see him. I wasn't looking forward to it. I really was saying a lot of negative things around work about him coming in. And I still don't think the guy is a swell fella. I'm just saying, having met him, spending just 2 hours with him, I was pleasantly surprised. When you're wrong, you're wrong, and I admit when I'm wrong. And I was pleasantly surprised of what a genuine, down-to-earth, nice guy he was.
Yeah. Now, if you want to be cynical about this, you could say that maybe Clemens also understands that reputation is part of what kind of holds him back a little bit for a lot of people. And maybe you understand that, hey, maybe don't be an asshole in public. You know, be polite, be a little bit nice. You know, you get more flies with honey. You know, maybe you bring in the charm offensive a little bit. Occasions like that could certainly, they can't hurt his reputation to be nice once in a while and present yourself in front of the public as
like
such.
me, who was totally down on him, now going out in public and saying that, you know, my perception was wrong, and he was really he really was a swell fella, you know, and polite and kind and funny and cheerful and excited to be there. I mean, I have nothing but positive things to say about the 2 hours I spent with him.
Yep.
He could have got in his car, got on the phone with his wife, and been like, "Oh my God, these people suck. I had to take this fake smile on the whole time." And then he could have, you know, run somebody over in a crosswalk and sped away. I have no idea. All I can tell you is for 2 hours, I have to admit I was wrong with my preconceived notions, and I was pleasantly surprised by him.
Mm-hmm. And all it takes is a couple of outcomes like that, and that could be enough to turn around. But I think it's funny that, and I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, everyone can feel however they want to feel. I keep wondering though, and I've always think it's weird. Again, with Dan, there's nothing wrong with what Dan said, but I'm sitting there going like, I could list off all these athletes that are great athletes that are assholes in different ways, or for different occasions, or point out all these different things. I'm saying that I don't need to be their best friend. I'm not their buddy. Like I don't need to co-sign on what you're doing in your private time. That isn't my concern. My question is like, so what's funny is, talk about it, is like, no, listen, I like Soto, and the fact he's a bit brash and an asshole, I actually like that more. And Barry Bonds was an asshole for all this. You know what? I enjoyed it. I found it tremendously entertaining. But I do, Eric, to be fair, I do kind of, allegedly, Eric, gravitate towards the villains. I'm just saying. # on brand.
And I know I've shared this before, but he said that me and Wayne Gretzky are the only people he have ever signed hockey pucks for. So, I mean, I was wondering what he was going to say when I said, will you sign a hockey puck? Get the hell out of here. Blah, blah. No, this is cool. Yeah, I signed a few for Wayne Gretzky before, but that's it. I'm just like, you're telling me that the only people that have Roger Clemens signed hockey pucks are me and Wayne Gretzky? All right, that's a cool story. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yep. So, Mike, I'll come back. I'll read your comment here. Give me 1 second. Let me hit a little star button. That way I can make sure I come back to it. We'll come back to that in a second. So Paul says, Carlos, you're not after not swell fella card tonight. Not that I'm aware of. I have my safe search, but nothing in particular that I caught my eye that I was looking at. I assume you're thinking of something in particular. Willie Mays cards do not fetch the kind of numbers they should, or they're not rising now like speaker. Listen, the 53 tops already rose. Eric, I gave up on the 53 top set. Willie Mays ruined it. So it still rose too far. Maybe if he'd been more of an asshole, it would have been more affordable. Jerk. CC says both can be true at the same time. Clemens can be an asshole and a decent guy on a particular day. That's fair. That's kind of what I was alluding to. I'm saying, but here's the thing. What if, athlete X, whoever you like, what if he is a complete asshole, but he understands how to be nice to the public? He's completely two-faced in that way.
Oh, sure.
Does that change the fact that he's an asshole? No, it doesn't. But the public perception then is good, right? The public perception is good. Look, I'll put it to you this way. Here's the ultimate example. I would love to have taken a straw poll back on people's feelings about O.J. Simpson before 1994.
Oh, we loved him.
Correct.
I loved him. You kidding me?
Yeah, he was in the Naked Gun movies, and by the way, he was a beloved character. People enjoyed his stuff.
And the Naked Gun movies brought him to a new audience. You have to understand, because he'd been out of football for quite a while.
Yes.
And so, I mean, you were listening to your parents talk to you about what great person this was, what an unbelievable player he was. You then saw him. I grew up watching. Now, this is all true, right? I grew up watching him run through airports for Hertz commercials. They were on all the time. Him hurdling chairs in airports, rushing to his plane, and getting to his rent-a-car for Hertz. I believe, and this is the irony, selling Isotona gloves with Dan Marino. All right, that's what I grew up with OJ, and then he became this comedic actor, and I mean, he was beloved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says collecting characters a topic that isn't discussed enough. That's fair. He lied to your face. Correct. Mike Piazza still hates his guts. Probably Mike Piazza does. Yeah. Roger Clemens lied to Congress too. True. OJ was a killer actor. Look at you, Ham. I see what you did. I see what you did. OJ was always on TV even after he played, announcing movies, commercials, celebrity events. Yeah. So my point that I'm making is that OJ Simpson's public perception was really good for years right after his post-playing days. Yes. So he, at that point in time, if you had stopped, if you had stopped right there in 1993, let's say he had died in 1993.
Yep.
Do you have any idea, like the obituaries, like it would have been glowing.
Hall of Fame
effusive praise.
It would say Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame man.
Yeah. But funny how things can turn really quick on a dime under the right circumstances. Like my point is stuff happens. And a lot of times we kind of assign thoughts and feelings about certain players, and we come up with the narratives. And I'm like, well, if a player is young enough, you kind of have to let it play out a little bit. Yeah, kind of have to again, literally, Kobe was not beloved the way he was at the end of his life. Prior to that did not happen. I remember it. There was plenty of opposition. But after he passed away and it was tragic and all that stuff, like, listen, all of a sudden we had a completely different story. We had a completely different story at that time.
People have forgot about the negative stuff and the probable crime that he committed.
That tends to be the way this goes, though. You put a little distance. People get out of their feels after a while.
Yes, it was a tragedy that everyone on that plane, helicopter died. His little girl. It is a lot of sad feelings about all the victims that day. I feel worse for the family members who lost loved ones. I have no boo-hoo. Kobe Bryant died. I just was never a fan on the court and definitely not off the court. And I was shocked when, I was the one going, this wasn't a swell fella. How can you say that? How can you say that? And it's like, how can I say that? Do you have selective memory about this individual? This was not a swell fella. There are legitimate accusations that he committed a really bad crime. And you're just, it was just an opportunity for people to play victim, that their hero died. And it's like, people wanted you to feel bad for them because they lost Kobe. And I was just like, yeah, no, sorry.
Wow.
Because as a Celtics fan, he can go eat shit. And as a human being, he can kind of go eat shit too. I'm sorry. The facts are the facts. And also, by the way, Larry Bird, not a swell fella. Never going to get Dad of the Year. If you know about Larry Bird and his daughter and ex-wife and all, Larry Bird's not a swell fella. And he wasn't a swell fella on the court either.
Yeah. So Eric, are you aware that you're in the Boston's? They'll stone you for that.
Everyone knows it.
Just saying. Sven says, you never know about the players, even vintage ones. There could be a letter found one day that says bad things. Indeed. Listen, I'm happy to spread, like I said, Eric, not that I'm bitter, not that I've been known to be a bitter man, but I remember last year's World Series, and I will wish nothing but horrible things on every member of that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yes.
CC says, Eric, stay out of LA. Might be a lynching. Listen, he's trying to get himself lynched locally. He's besmirching the name of Larry Bird. Got to be careful.
I'm just saying I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to tell you. Larry Bird, though, never committed a crime. He was a really bad dad, and he should be ashamed of himself. And, I'm not going to say that he's not. I'm not going to tell you he's a swell fella.
Mm.
Okay. I'm not going to, but he never was accused of committing a heinous crime, and kind of admitted to doing it.
Mm. So Dan is making kind of making a good reference here. He says vintage guys are usually locked in. Well, you never know. The Ty Cobb notwithstanding, the Ty Cobb signing was mostly bullshit. Now, this is true. after the fact, some scholarship came out that, a lot of this stuff, some stuff was exaggerated. But Eric, wouldn't it be one of the most wonderful turns, the twists, since we like our twists and turns?
Mhm.
Turns out that Ty Cobb was not the level of racist that he was portrayed in, not to that degree. But he was a serial killer. Oh, you know what? The first one, no, it turned out he was a serial killer instead. Much better.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Ty Cobb. The stories. And Dan knows way more about this than me, but we all know that.
Yeah, the issue was that the author was discredited. So what Dan's referring to is that the author was discredited because they looked into some of the stuff and he had kind of seemingly made some stuff up.
Yeah, sharpening the spikes and sliding into second and maiming people, and he was a known racist. And I wasn't around then. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
Yep. Ham says, I keep waiting for Tom Brady and Jordan to do something stupid and crash their market. Listen, Jordan has enough money to hide the bodies. First of all, Jordan has enough money to hide the bodies.
Yeah, both of them do. But yeah, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about Jordan. We all know that. Why was he playing baseball? Why did his dad die? They're all conspiracy theories. There's no actual proof, but if you follow the conspiracy theories, they make a lot of sense.
If they're alive, they can F up. Yes.
And Brady already owes me money, so we already know he's a scumbag.
So it says, what if Mantle was a Zodiac killer? So on the one hand, that would hurt his market, Eric, but in a different market, it would enhance it. Just saying.
The Zodiac, I'm just saying, wasn't the Zodiac killer in California?
Listen, Mickey Mantle can afford an airplane.
And Mantle
can go wherever he needs to go.
All right.
Just saying.
Just trying to remember my killers. Paul V's not here to help us.
Oh, Paul wasn't here a little earlier. Do you want to answer this one? This is a story for you.
I'll give you the quick version. I raised money for charity. It was called the Best Buddies Foundation. It was run by the Kennedys, who I also hate and think we know for a fact are all criminals from day one till right now.
Afterwards, Mike, in the follow-up question, ask him where he was, if he was anywhere near the grassy knoll.
And every single Kennedy has been a criminal since they took their first breath. But I decided to do this charity. I had to cycle 100 miles in one day, and I raised $5,000 or something. Well, come to find out, the spokesperson is Tom Brady. And when we crossed the finish line, there's Tom Brady handing out the medals and congratulating all of us and blah, blah, blah. And then he does an event with a lot of kids with Down syndrome and some other issues that we were raising the money for. A couple of years go by, I've seen him on commercials and begging for the money and all this, and he's the spokesperson. Come to find out, the Kennedys were paying him. This was not a charity for Tom Brady. He was a paid spokesperson. And where do you think the money came? The money came from the money raised for these children with disabilities. The money was taken and put into Tom Brady's pocket so he could do TV commercials and appearances with kids with Down syndrome, because he couldn't do that on his own. He wanted to be paid for it.
Well, Eric, he hadn't made the FTX money yet.
Well, he is.
That was later.
He sucks, and I'm not a fan. And the bitch owes me money.
Thank you, Stu. Billy Martin did Mantle's dirty work. Exactly. So, Paul, to answer your question, Zodiac killer. We're looking for some Zodiac killer insights. Eric, you asked for insight.
Yeah, that happened in California, correct, Paul? That was a California.
Yeah, Paul will fill us in on the deets. He'll give us the details. Man was too drunk to kill anyone intentionally. Dan, that is a defeatist attitude. I happen to think Mickey Mantle was an all-time great. I happen to think he could kill someone intentionally while drunk. That right there, the man can multitask.
First of all, Mickey Mantle was so past alcoholic, he could no longer get drunk. The man he
played most of his career drunk. If the man could play, he could murder.
Alcohol gets mantled. Okay. Mantle doesn't become alcoholic.
No, so you're saying the beer became Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
There you go. Northern to mid Cali. Yes. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you confirming. Tom Brady was a celebrity spokesman for Crypto Friday. Yeah, that was the part of the FTX thing. He was part of that. What if Doja Maggio was a mafia hitman? Listen, all these things could be true. That's what I'm trying to say. We're going to find out. Eric, I want, we need to get to the truth of all of it. We need to find out that it turns out all of these people. What if, Eric? What if the entire vintage? What if it turned out that every single vintage? What if they were all pieces of shit? It was just levels of pieces of shit, but all of them. They were like the worst people ever.
Well, one of the things we do know is that a lot of shenanigans went on with vintage players. We'll say baseball, for example. And we know for a fact that the press kept all that stuff quiet because they were either out drinking with them or partying with them or wanted the connections. So they didn't rat them out over the filthy, rotten, horrible stuff they were doing. So they could continue to have the access and the accessibility and the celebrity connections to, Hollywood and sports. So all the horrible things that went on and back in the day, in the 50s, for example, the press knew all about it. They just didn't report it. Now you can't get away with anything because everyone's got a camera on them. Everyone's got a microphone on them. So you can't get away with anything.
Scandalous, truly scandalous.
Everybody wants hits on their Instagram accounts and on their news feeds and on their podcasts. So they're not giving up a juicy story because that's going to hurt them.
Listen, that's Eric. That sounds an awful lot like what goes on around here. It's all about the hits.
It's all about the hits.
Keith says it's about awareness, Eric, not actually helping the sick. Oh, sorry. I appreciate that you did Eric with the K. Valid. Charity 101. That's correct.
Yeah.
Plenty of racists in vintage old guys. Also plenty of scoundrels. True. That's Christy Mathewson was odd because he was actually an educated, good guy, except for the serial murder.
Well, yeah. Besides that, yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, swell fellow.
Yeah.
A godly man, except for the serial murder.
No.
I always appreciate the possibility. Eric, if we just randomly throw darts, what if, Eric, we just throw darts all night and we actually hit a couple?
Yeah.
It turns out, yes, he was in fact a serial killer. Hey, how'd you guys know? Yes.
We claim I'm only friendly with one vintage player, and his name happens to be Willie O'Ree. And
he's suspicious of you.
And
he thinks you're Eric.
And he would have spelt my name right. Okay.
Because he knows, Eric, he knows about you.
He knows how to spell my name. It's right there. It's very clear. He knows how to spell my name.
Does he now?
He does.
Does he now?
I got proof.
Mike says, Eric, what happened to your buddies? Oh, yes. So thank you, Mike. I was going to come back to that. So, yeah. So real quick, I'm going to grab my drink here and refill. But say, Eric, what happened to your buddies that had the Tom Brady footballs that Tom Brady? So, Eric, this is your opportunity to continue your rant. I'll be right back.
So what it came down to is basically my friends don't have the same amount of money as Tom Brady. And their lawyer said, listen, they are going to drag this out forever. You have to prove that there was intent. It's impossible to prove that he intended to damage these items. The biggest issue was that they weren't going to be able to get them authenticated. But then, trying to remember how it happened. It may had something to do with Golden. I don't want to say that unless I remember correctly, but somebody got them authenticated, and that kind of screwed up everything. Because the whole point was they're so bad they'll never be authenticated, and they ended up. Someone said, "Yeah, sure, I'll authenticate it."
Yeah. Well, as soon as that happens, it kind of defeats one of. You're basically trying to say you had damages. So so as the moment somebody's willing to authenticate it, well, then you kind of lose that piece of the argument. You lose kind of that point.
So they wanted to be told, "Oh no, this stuff is trash. I'm not authenticating this," and instead they were like, "Yeah, sure," but it's like this is not his everyday audit. See, it's the only thing they had left was comparisons. They could have brought in their stuff to a judge, for example, or a jury, and brought in 50 other autographed items and said, this is what his autograph looks like. Here is 50 different examples of Tom Brady's autographed on footballs, on shoes, on 8x10s, on blah, 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 blah. And these are the ones he did for us. I think, I thought they had a shot by using that kind of defense, but, lawyers want lots of money, and Tom Brady's lawyers can, they can drag it out for the rest of your life until you're completely bankrupt or dead. So, nope, they just had to kind of move on with it.
Well, all this, Eric, is all well and true. It's all fine and dandy, but I know the reason why they didn't want to take him on is because if they had,
they deal with that psycho.
Just saying. And Tony Dungy's there with him. Tony Dungy's right there.
Yeah.
Looking into your soul.
Tom Brady doesn't use cocaine.
Looking right into your soul.
Yeah, he doesn't use cocaine at all.
You want to mess with that man?
I think those whiteout parties where everyone dresses in white.
Yeah. The problem is we don't have high resolution cameras back in the day. Christy Matthews was basically like that.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like in church.
So yeah. So anyways, I'm this, there's two examples of why Tom Brady's a scumbag. Is he the greatest quarterback of all time? I can't argue it, man. I watched him play here. I watched him play in Tampa. I mean, the guy could do things that were absolutely remarkable. And I watched Montana in the 80s and Marino, and I watched Elway, and I watched Manning, and I watched many, many other great quarterbacks in my life. And this dude he was remarkable. But that doesn't mean he's a great guy. I think he's a scumbag.
Guess his Boston Card Hunters, hey dude, lawyer works for free. That is true. Keith says the lesson here is to pay for the full autograph fee next time. Exactly, Keith. You understand? I tried to make this point. Eric's buddies were trying to get us. We're trying to get all sneaky like.
You're not wrong, but they paid thousands. Okay, they didn't show up. Again, you're not wrong, but they didn't show up and get a loophole where they paid $20 and said, here, sign this stuff and make me rich. They paid thousands. It's just a few lesser thousand than they would have done. And there's not a lot of places to get access to him to do a signing. And they took a shot, and they spent a lot of money on getting to Florida with all the stuff, paying the thousands to get into this event, and buying the book and all these different things. And yeah, they found a loophole, and he screwed up. This wasn't just footballs they bought at Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, these were game used footballs. The Super Bowl touchdown to Gronk footballs, game used Tom Brady cleats. I mean, this stuff was worth a lot, and he lessened the value of them by pulling the shit that he pulled.
Scandalous.
But you're not 100% wrong.
Mm-hmm. So again, separate from that,
I'm never a hypocrite. I'm
gonna need a little time to think of this one.
No, never a hypocrite.
We'll find the appropriate footage. So anyway, what I was gonna say was quick update on the Toronto crash out. Vegas is now up 1-0 on 2 shots.
Oh, Jesus. On 2 shots? I guess switching the goalie in Colorado didn't really work out well for them.
Yes. So right now, just 2 shots on net, 1 goal. Creeping closer, Eric. Creeping closer. So right now I'm looking at it here. It's definitely not looking at a little screen here, and if that's what you're thinking.
I got a whole TV if I want to watch it, but I don't even want to.
Yeah, I want to do a multitask a little bit here, but I want to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. So we're under 14 minutes is what I got. So we're just getting going. It's heading into the first period. That's why you pay to do it the right way. It's all about making sure we follow the line.
And again, I'm not going to argue that point. The only thing is what other event is Tom Brady doing that, he's not doing a signing. He's not coming to Sports World and doing a signing.
Eric,
So
you could go to the country club.
I didn't think they could have gone to the country club
Yes.
that I helped pay for.
Yes. Absolutely. If you were part of the people, part of the crew, you could go to the white party.
Yes.
You could go to the
I didn't
Tony
pay
Dungy birthday.
I didn't pay for that. No.
That's unfortunate. You could have been an FTX investor. You could have been to the FTX investor support group.
Yep. Yeah.
You would have been there for that.
How did that work out with that scumbag?
He got away with it. Well, so Brady did, the celebrity guys.
Good enough. Brady used his influence to get other people's money in like a pyramid scheme to give it to, that weird looking dude with the crazy hair. And that guy ended up in prison. And Brady was like, oh, I'm a victim too. No, dude. Everyone invested their money with crazy hair over here because of you. Yeah, God, I just
So much anger.
I cannot stand Tom Brady.
So much anger. So that was the follow-up question.
And what happened to his whole TBK, company that, with all the food and the avocado ice cream and all that? Nope, gone. So all these people who spent thousands upon thousands of dollars for his book and his lifestyle and the classes and the food and the, and jumping into going to the, it was like a cult. It was crazy. And that's gone now.
Eric, are you upset that they didn't invite you to the meetings of the cult?
I didn't know. Now, if Reggie Lemlin had a cult and didn't invite me, I'd be pissed. But no, I didn't. I have no interest in going to Tom Brady's cult.
All right, fine. Says you now. So this was the follow-up. Did they sell it, or they still have the stuff?
I think they ended up selling most of it. I think that's where Golden got involved or something. And but they took a huge hit. They didn't make what they, no, the whole thing was effed from as soon as he decided to be a big giant baby, a big Tom baby, everything got ruined and the numbers all fell. So it was the whole thing was just a bad situation.
Shame. Tough times.
Tom Brady sucks. What do you want from me?
This is where I need Brad. I still remember when I did a whole teardown of all the Super Bowls. Broke down every single problem. They're all the Super Bowls. Let me lay it out for you. It's good. I like that. But it happens.
Back.
Yeah.
He owes me money.
Here you go. Speaking of, listen to Eric ripping to people all Knicks. Evening, Brad. It's still not quite as good as my classic takedown of Tom Brady, but it's pretty good. All night. That's right. How's it going, Brad? How are things?
Yes.
So I don't know where you're at, Brad. Do you want to pop in for a cameo, or are you good just hanging out in the chat? By the way, if you're in the chat, I'm good with that. But if you're in the chat, I'm going to need some Eric Slander.
Yeah, he can slander me all he wants. I am curious though, how much involvement do you have in the Halifax Expo? Are you like co-running it? What's your situation with that? I was meaning to ask you actually and call you or text you about it and find out. I'm thinking it was just something that crossed my mind to get more information on this Halifax Expo thing. I was thinking about maybe getting up there in July. So I was curious. So I was going to reach out to you and ask you about it, but if you got the time now, let's go.
Yep. So we got some follow-up comments. We'll get to it here. And it was a good time. It was classic. Mike says, Brad, are you going to show up at Friday night show? We'll get to that here in a second. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, all and Eric. Good evening, Paul as well. Why is Eric so cranky against the wall? All the time. Damn. So Brad is not involved with the Halifax Expo. Fair enough. Eric broke my heart talking bad about Bird. I know, Sven. I know.
Ben, if you're a Bird fan, as I am, grew up watching him, and just the guy brought me so much joy as a kid. You know all about his situation with his daughter that he didn't talk to and ignored, and his ex-wife, and the I mean, all of it. And then he the adopted kid, and I mean, just not dad of the year material.
Wow.
I mean, the daughter even went as far as going public. Like, I don't know why. I don't understand why he looks just like him. Oh my God, which is not a huge compliment. Okay. She looks just like him. And she's like, I don't understand why he doesn't have anything to do with me or my mother. And, I wish I just wanted dad. I mean, it was so sad. Yeah.
It could be worse, Eric. So you were just making a reference. Do me a favor. On your phone, look up Maya Lesnar. MYA Lesnar. And report back your findings. Eric really needs to open up and tell us how he feels about Tom Brady. Facts. Since it's true.
Oh, no. Hold on. No, I don't even have to. I'm like, who is this? And the last name hit me. I am well aware of Mr. Lesnar's daughter. I have nothing mean to say about her.
You probably shouldn't.
Her track and field career. I have nothing negative to say about anybody in that family. I think I'm sure she is a lovely young lady, and I wish her nothing but the best. That is my stance on that.
Did y'all see how fast, like for a man with a replaced hip, did you see how effectively and well he backpedaled? How fast? I didn't think he could go backwards that quick. Like, that was actually kind of impressive.
I wish her nothing but the best. I'm sure she is a wonderful young lady.
Eric tonight has been talking all the trashing Kobe, trashing Larry Bird, trashing Tom Brady. He's got no problem. And all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm a man of peace. Man of peace.
I wish that young lady nothing but the best. And I congratulate her on her successes on the field part of track and field. I wish her nothing but the best. Congratulations.
As soon as he led in that direction, I was like, I know the direction I need to go with this. Google it, kids. And here it is, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Wait, hold on. Second time tonight we're doing it. Hang on. Where is this thing? There we go. All of a sudden, bougie Eric is all of a sudden, a completely different man when he realizes he could have his face broken
by her. I'm not afraid of him. You think I'm afraid of Brock? I am not afraid of Brock.
You're afraid of both of them. At this point, you're afraid of the dog. You're afraid of everyone related to that family.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Brad.
I have seen her throw the discus. She will hit me from like 100 yards out with a discus. I am not saying anything about that young lady, except good for you, young lady.
Indeed. I'll be back on Friday soon. My favorite show, The Hobby, minus Eric, correct? Max. So, serious question, Eric, while we're chatting. We'll go for a little bit longer here. We'll hang out until basically the top of the hour. By the way, Chad, if there's anything you want to chat on, feel free. Like I said, I touched on a couple of topics earlier tonight. I stand by a lot of that stuff that I was talking about. But right now, we're kind of on a holding pattern. There's not really a lot of crazy stuff going on. There'll be some shows coming up here. Obviously, once we get into July, there'll be the Fanatics Fest. There'll be the National. There'll be a couple of those things. That'll be soon enough. I'm thinking about, Eric, they've got a show over in Oakville, just over in the neighboring city from me. Okay. I'm thinking about maybe popping in. I like checking out some of those smallish shows. So we'll see. And like I said, I'm going to have fun with the other channel, and we'll still do the regular stuff on here. But yeah, it is feeling like summertime, though. Today felt like a proper summertime. I was saying before we hit go live, this is the time of year where now people are getting out. I think they're going to be at the cottage on the weekend a lot. So I think that's going to be a factor for a bit. Now the weather finally turned. For me, it's good because I like to go outside and take a walk. So I'm good. So I think works for me. But yeah, definitely when the weather finally turned, that's what made the Spring Expo kind of funny though, is that yeah, the weather was still very cool. And I think it actually dissuaded some people from heading to cottage country. And I think it made the attendance very strong. But now we're definitely feeling the weather closer to what you were expecting. I think you're right. I think you are correct in your statement.
Good for her. You're a lovely young lady.
So here's my question to you. So right now, Vegas, like I said, is up 1-0. Obviously, 1-0 is still plenty of time left. So that's not an issue. But how long into this game before the Colorado situation, the sticks start getting a little tight? Because it's like, you don't want to. Here's the thing. At this point, the likelihood is Vegas is going to advance. Like, it's really tough. You put yourself in a really bad position.
Oh, yeah.
From a pride standpoint, that you really don't want to get swept.
No.
You want to try to like take one, at least take one to gentleman sweep. Get a respectable gentleman sweep.
Right. Yeah. And like I said at the beginning of the show, Vegas is I'm going to shove this puck down your throat type of team. And the Avalanche is more of a finesse, and we got superstars, and we can move this puck around, and we're going to make five.
Listen, Vegas has Conn Smythe Trophy leader in the clubhouse, Mitch Marner.
Listen, I know. I know. It's going to be.
I'm just saying. Don't bury the lead.
A lot of times, grit will beat flash, and Colorado has been the flashy superstar team all season, faster than everybody, flashier than everybody, better passing, better goal scoring, better. I mean, just better everything. But the playoffs are a whole different situation, and you get Torts getting this team fired up and demanding just every shift you take someone's throat out, and they are responding. You see the record of Vegas since Torts took over? They're like some ridiculous number, like 18-5 or something. I don't know. It's a crazy number. Since he took over for Butch Cassidy, he's got like a 90-something% win percentage in the 90s. It is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, Tortorella is good for, like, with the right team, the right combination of players, the right kind of team. Tortorella is good for getting, a boost of energy for the players. And this is right now where we're inside that. So, eventually he wears out his welcome. But right now you're still within. You could literally ride this to a Stanley Cup. The narrative is there. There is a universe in which you could ride this to a Stanley Cup, and then in 2 seasons throw him out the door, with the trash because he's worn out his welcome. But that's okay. If you're Vegas, you don't give a shit. If you can get past this year and you get a Stanley Cup out of it, look, in 2 years we might run you out of town. But in the meantime, all is good in the hood. Like,
they could win when it comes to Torts, they could win the Stanley Cup and fire him during the offseason.
Yeah. And that's well within possibility. And so regardless, though, like I said, for them right now, it's an interesting situation. I am Western Conference guy, given that I'm a Dallas fan. I'm always going to root for the Western Conference. But it is interesting to me. I really think Colorado is missing, like, this was an opportunity. This year was an opportunity for them. And they've kind of fumbled this thing right now. It's kind of interesting. Brad was saying off topic, a Netflix soccer documentary, JB Vardy's story. All should watch. There you go. Recommendation from Brad. Thank you, Brad. So Mike here says, Carlos, do you have anything special lined up for number 300? Possibly a throwback 6-hour show. So I would love to. So I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, Mike. I don't have anything specific planned. However, I am thinking about it. The timing of it is what's interesting. Here's my challenge, and I'll just share with you guys the challenge. Obviously, we joked about it. It is the same weekend as my birthday. Eric's saying no because Eric originally pitched 12 hours. That was his original idea. And I was like, it seems a little aggressive, Eric. It seems a little tough. I don't know if I want to go that far.
What's the longest one we ever did? Do you remember?
7.5.
Oh, God.
Easy work.
Oh, my God.
That's just a warm-up. So anyway, what I was going to say is that.
Did we do that on a Sunday night? Probably.
It was a Sunday night. Yeah, totally.
Oh, my God.
We had Broncos 79 Steve. By the way, if anybody wants to go back in the archives, Steve actually showed off a lot of his Terrell Davis collection. Showed off a lot of cool cards for his Terrell Davis collection. That was part of it. That was why we were able to go for as long as we did, because we were talking about it. Back in the days, we actually showed cards. It was a weird time. Weird time. Ooh, speaking of which, I actually got mail. You want to see a little mail? Show a couple of cards? Cards? Couple of cards? All right. I'll finish this comment, Mike, and then I'll show a couple of cards. So anyway, no, I don't have anything specifically planned right now. What is going to determine what I want to do? I'll answer this like this. What's going to determine what I want to do is dependent on whether I can get my ducks in a row. I would love to go to the Halifax thing. It comes down to timing. It comes down to if it makes sense, because from where I am, I probably would have to fly over. I'm not a big airplane guy, to be honest. I don't like planes, but under the right circumstances, I would do it. But that means I would have to book the flight and, accommodations, all that stuff. Like, there's some logistics to be figured out if I want to do that. Possible. It is possible. But outside of that, yeah, I would love to do something special for 300, because 300 is fun, because, getting to another 100 is a couple of years away. So, it's not, and look, and I'll say this truthfully, I don't take it for granted, the consecutive run. It works for me and my lifestyle because I don't mind. I'm a homebody. I like being around here. So to me, it's doable. No problem. But the thing is that there's going to be a day where stuff is going to come up, or I'm going to be busy, or I'm not going to be able to do it. And there'll be a week without a live and the streak will be over. It will happen. When? I have no idea.
Wait a minute. I've done it from a bathroom. I've done it from bed with, after surgery. I've done it with the flu. I've done it with COVID.
You've also not done it. You've missed episodes.
Yeah, I have.
Yep, I have not. So when we get to 300, I will have been there for all 300 episodes. And it will be consecutive. I am hell-bent on making sure the 300 is consecutive. So at some point, the streak will end. I'm not planning on it anytime soon. But yes, I would love to do something special because, the round numbers are nice. I would love to. I just have to think about what that's going to be. Maybe bring back some voices from the past. Who knows? Who knows? Could be even boat. Ham says Vegas is winning. Correct. The best plan is no plan. Who knows, Ham? Listen, I know you like it. Listen, I know you like being a random Florida man. And look, at this point, Ham will go. I think, Eric, I've talked about this before. I'm in Canada. And in Canada, the hockey plays everywhere. My fridge plays hockey. But I got to tell you, the fridge is starting to take on some sentience. It's gotten to the point where I think Ham's been on so many lives. I think the fridge was playing a live that Ham was on. It was a little weird. There's like a hockey game. There's like a quick brief intermission, and there was Ham doing it live somewhere. It was wild. So I don't know.
He gets around. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Any opportunity.
And as much as much as I dislike him for having an open affair with my wife and really making me look bad and embarrassing me, too is pretty good at this stuff. He's knowledgeable. He's good with the microphone, and he can keep a show going for a long time. So I give him credit. He's not boring. He always brings something to the table, and I just really wish he'd stop having an affair with my wife, because it's embarrassing.
Florida man's gonna Florida man. Jeff says Tortolano is not under contract beyond the playoffs. That would make sense. That would probably be wise. How long do we go on Hobby Palooza? I want to say 5 and change. Let me see if I can figure it out. See, you've moved Ham with emotion. Have a think about the episode when Eric fills in BIE. I assume you mean BIC?
No, BIC. Because I'm Eric.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, actually, that would be like the perfect. You know what? Eric, I like certain specific things that I've talked about.
Yes.
One of the things that I'm a big fan of, as you are well aware, is the long con.
The long con. Yes.
Today is May the 26th, 2026. There will be an April Fool's in 2027.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, Brandon Ryan, all I'm saying is There will be an April Fool's in 2027.
It'd be a complete car wreck. Some are meant to host and be like Johnny Carson, and others are meant to co-host and be Ed McMahon. I am Ed McMahon. If Johnny was out sick, they didn't put Ed behind the desk. They got Joan Rivers. Okay.
Wait, so who's Joan Rivers in this analogy? I want information.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying there is one in this analogy. I'm just saying Ed didn't get behind the desk. They went and got someone else. Okay?
Maybe I should leave Ham in charge. That would be fun.
Ham would be a great Joan Rivers. I'm still Ed McMahon. And Ed McMahon's a legend, as I am in this role. Legend. Ed was never behind the desk saying, hello, everybody. Johnny's off tonight. So me and Doc over here, we're going to take over the show. No, they never did that. And there was a reason.
Ham, it is true. I only need 1 second for the streak to continue. It's like Cal Ripken. I just need to be there for an inning and a bat, something. Let's keep the streak going. You're at SNL, Jane Curtin. I'm going to guess Jane Curtis, maybe. And Dave Aykroyd, point counterpoint. That reminds me of Ham and Bobby when they get into an argument. There you go.
Jane, ignorant slut.
Good evening, Mangini. Here's Johnny. That's right. Next man up. I'm in. Ham's ready to go, man. He wants to start making performance. He's ready to host. Ready to be the man. But yeah, it's tough. What's funny is I've talked about it in jest. I've talked about it jokingly. But the reality is that what's funny is when you get into a streak, it gets harder. The longer you do it, it's like now the good news for me is that work has never been an issue with my schedule. That's not an issue. I can kind of do what I need to do. I work remote most of the time anyway. I do still go into the office, but I work remote. So that's scheduling wise has never been an issue. But yeah, I don't take a lot of vacations. Even if I do, it's whatever. It's fine. But it's actually very difficult. And I know one day it will end. And that's why I was kind of like, we'll see. But that's why I enjoy the little milestones along the way. Enjoy it while it's the case. But we talked about it. You mentioned earlier tonight. So many of them have dropped off, Eric. I've beaten them. I've beaten them by attrition.
Yes.
I just keep going. Keep chugging along. He's out of the shadows. He's an enigma indeed. It can become a job. I still enjoy it. That's why I like doing it. But here will be the thing. If it reaches a point where I don't enjoy it anymore, then I'll shut the damn thing off. That'll be the end of that.
We've said that all along, right? We've had this conversation many times. Pop, in and out on this conversation. Yeah, neither one of us are getting rich to do this. We don't have. We talked just the last show. We don't have an audience of 10,000 people. We do this because we enjoy it in our spare time, and when we stop enjoying it, that'll be the end of it. So far, we still enjoy doing it in our spare time, but I mean, we can joke all about perpetuity and all that. The second I'm not enjoying this anymore, I'm gone. I that's it. Why would I do this if it wasn't bringing me some type of joy or interest? I enjoy being doing this and interacting with everybody in the chat. I've talked about that a million times, so but as soon as that doesn't interest me anymore, I'll be off riding my bike in the woods on Friday nights.
Well, crashing your bike in the woods.
Fair enough. That is true. We do have some new boo-boos for those who are new, weren't in earlier. A tree jumped out in front of me yesterday, and I did think for a portion of about maybe 3 minutes that I had broken my forearm. But we're all good. We're all good. We're going to be back on the bike tomorrow.
Ham says, my fishing streak became an I can't stop. I wasn't even doing it for me. That's when it's no good, because Ham was doing that fishing thing every day. And the advantage is I'm doing it every week, not every day. That that does change the calculus a little bit. But yeah, if you're just doing it, not doing it for you, then it is a job. That's unfortunate. Mike says, Carlos speaking Rich, doing this. So any word of your sponsor? So Mike, I don't know if you I could have sworn you were in the last episode. Like, here, I said it. I did a video with Jay. Not only did I say, I said and I showed. As a matter of fact, I'm showing right now. So I will include a link in the description of this one. So just so we're clear. So Jay So I'll summarize. There's actually a video about this. I'll include a link to that. And we go over and I quickly demonstrate. I actually want to make a little short version of it so people can see it. So Jay, in his laziness, and that's what he explained. He wanted to create something that would let him create an image of a card based on different databases they can pull from. So PSA, we use PSA as an example. You can actually use the serial number on PSA to pull the images from PSA's database. Now, if for some reason there's no database image, then you can still include your own image, but it will include, the information from their database. So it'll give you the set number, it'll give you the card number, it'll give you the grade, it'll give you all that info because it's actually pulling it from the database. It's a time saver if you basically want to create something from Instagram, but you can also use it for eBay and such. I actually demonstrated how you could do that. And I also demonstrated how you could do it with your own card scans. So you can actually punch in your own info. So you can use that. Take a look at it. I wanted to include the AMG collectibles thing on the bottom, but just real quick, since Victor was talking about the whole thing between codes and sponsorships, it is a sponsorship, just to be clear. Sponsor, hashtag ad, hashtag whatever. But Eric, if someone uses the code BIC, they can try it for free. Gratis, free 99.
Very nice.
There's the code right there. If you want to use it, you can scan it. If you're watching this on TV, you can use it on your phone. It'll go straight to the website. You can try it. It's free. And you can use the code BIC. It works.
Let's see.
Give it a try.
I'm giving it a try. Showcase your cards. How to sell.
Bingo. See, that's how easy it is. Bam. And then the website is right there too. So you can punch it in manually if you like. What's Eric's life insurance like? Listen, well, we can talk him. We can talk.
Why don't you just ask my wife next time you're with her?
Mm-hmm. Week is a cakewalk after doing the daily stuff. True. And Ryan says, the hobby content gods hear your prayers and provide the necessary inspiration to continue. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. So right now we're approaching. So for me, looking at my end, we're approaching the end of the first period. We're under 50 seconds, and it is currently still 1-0. Carlos, please forgive me. Unlike Eric, who's tied by contract, I dozed off during the episode for a short time after a long day. All good. Happy to answer. So going back to what we talked about, though, on a previous episode, very clearly disclosing everything. That is a sponsorship. Yes, and yes, there's a code. Both of those things are correct. And use it. Don't use it. But, again, I outlined it in the video. Jay would like to have people use it just to work on it, keep enhancing it, and keep changing it. It is cool. I've known Jay for a long time. He's basically, I don't think he was here right at the beginning of the channel, but he's actually been kind of an OG for a while. He was actually been on the channel. And going back, we've done videos where he actually talked about the star basketball cards. So as a collector, he's got a lot of great non-sport stuff too. So he's been around for a while. And he introduced the audience in a conversation I had with Jay back on the channel. I'll see if I can find the episode and the replay. I'll include it. He introduced me to the glory that is Sharknado cards. Yes, they're real. And yes, they're spectacular.
I love Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm. Ham says, so next month?
Yeah.
Next month for what?
Fine. Next month. I was wondering what she was planning on doing next month. I guess she's already
saying. It happens. That's what happens when you allow a Florida man wild and free, loose out on the populace. But this is what happens, Eric. I can't blame anybody but myself. The longer that I keep going and I've done it, the more the contemporaries fall away.
Yep. But I just want to let Ham know that she is not a two-man woman. Fact. These are facts. I have walked into my hotel bar and seen that guy and my wife sitting at the bar drinking together. Just the two of them. Okay? You're not special. I've also walked into the hotel bar and seen Yannick and my wife drinking together alone. So I just want to let you know, well, that's up for debate. But I just want to let you know, you're not the only one on her love list. Because I've caught her and Carlos, I've caught her and Yannick whatever goes on with you two in Florida, I don't even want to know about. I just saying, she gets around.
I'm sure they are, Ham. I'm sure they are. Good evening, Wes. I'm listening while logging 700 cards for a PSA sub. That boy Kai is working out. Actually, Eric, I do want to talk about this for a moment. Thank you for mentioning it, Wes. Before I do, real quick, let me quickly show some cards. I'll do it real quick here. But thank you, Wes. Appreciate it. All right. So obviously, there's different sellers on eBay. But what I like is that sometimes you'll have a seller that will have some more obscure shit, and the obscure shit is actually kind of fun because it's like not stuff that, and usually it's not expensive. So some of these dealers have it. So this is actually kind of like a check card. Michael Medano from the USA's.
Really?
It's kind of this random card. Believe it or not, ComC actually acknowledges these. So if you don't believe they're real cards, blame Uncle Rich. But they've got them for different sports. Like I've literally seen tennis cards and whatever. Like they're for a bunch. This is actually kind of a fun one. This is a random one, Eric. You'll appreciate this one. And this was also acknowledged by ComC. So here's Michael Medano.
Yeah.
And this is the trade deadline hockey. So there's kind of an oddball, kind of weird thing.
Oddball, yeah.
Yep. But you can actually buy these on ComC. They acknowledge them. So I would consider, so this is one of those situations where I will consider them as part of my Medano account because they are Medano kind of cards thing, but they're kind of weird, to be honest. But interesting. Like, look, when I've got so much other stuff, to me, if I'm only paying a couple of bucks, I don't care. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So
I like the oddball stuff. Yeah, it's not, Topps or Peachy or Upper Deck or, from these major companies, but whether it be the star cards, in basketball back in the 80s, Red Rooster. I just had some Gretzky Red Roosters today at work. There's so much out there that isn't just Topps, OPG, Upper Deck, for hockey, that, there's a lot of fun stuff out there. And because they're not licensed by those major companies, a lot of them are pretty cheap. Like
yeah,
super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like $1.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way they can be a little rarer, because how many times have you gone through that dollar bin, pulled out this crazy, manufactured card, that you've never ever seen before, of your favorite player. It's like, yeah, it's not Topps or Peachy or Upper Deck, but you've never seen it before. And you'll flip it over and it's like, 1 out of 10,000, what do they call them? Like test runs and things, test card. And yeah, they're great. They're fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the key is, as long as you're not paying much for it, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then usually shipping will be included or whatever. So this last card, so it was 3 cards in that envelope. So those were the 2. And then the last one here is actually from Upper Deck. This one's, I think, 0304 Superstar Spotlight from Upper Deck. So it actually is pretty solid. It's got a little hologram thing going on.
Oh, what year did you say?
0304, I think.
That is nice. Wow.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of a, I'll show it better once I get a chance. I'll do the video. So yeah, so with this, now I have 2,892, just shy of 2,900, getting close there, creeping close to it. There you go. Those actually came in the mail today.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good stuff.
My game says, Geoff Wilson's wife is next. She likes Moana. True. She actually Geoff actually made a video with his wife buying cards at the card show. Somebody's trying to appeal to the demographics. So kind of what Wes was talking about here. So we were joking about it on the Discord briefly. Obviously, Eric's compatriot, the Boston card hunter.
Yeah.
No PSAMA.
Yeah.
And all it's led is literally no one has stopped submitting cards.
Oh, right.
Literally no one.
According to him, I don't know if you saw today's video. He had a lot of the maths and stuff in it, and he's kind of saying that his people have boycotted and they're down numbers, and
Yeah. People have boycotted, and other people have sent twice as many. Like, it's not working.
no, listen, we'll find out in a month from now, when the numbers come out. It's
No, it'll be months from now. It'll be months from now.
No. The thing that comes out every month,
No, Eric. The thing is that, so real quick, just so you're talking about gem rate. So real quick, but here's the thing though. You won't find out next month, because what happens is gem rate is pulling that data from the cards that are in the as they generate them into the population report. And PSA is so backed up that the data from this upcoming month is, yes, it'll be the month of May, but those cards will be from like December.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No,
maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe November.
Yep.
So the numbers will be pretty consistent-ish. There may be a dip somewhere in there, but if there's a dip, Eric, it'll probably be because maybe December, because of the holidays or something. And that'll be like a month or two. And then it'll go back up.
I don't particularly listen to the Mr. Card Hunter all that much. Okay. I had a moment where I started to listen to this diatribe about how his boycott is working and their numbers are down. And then I had to literally stop listening, because I had to do something else. So it wasn't really a choice. And I was saying, I got to get back to, listening to the rest of his rant. But what little I was able to listen to, so I'm admitting that I did not get through the whole thing. He's kind of saying that the numbers are down and people have boycotted it, but buddy, I don't see it. But okay, best of luck to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the problem that we have right now, we did touch on this on Cardboard Cynics a little bit. He claims certain things, hoping that no one fact checks it. Like, he'll just say stuff, and it's like, you have no way of being able to determine that. Oh, people told me. Who are these people? What people?
Yeah,
the majority of the cards that are being submitted are TCG, number one.
Right.
By the way, in Japan, most of the cards submitted there are TCG. So do you have a contact in Japan that the Pokemans people stopped submitting? Because I don't think they did. But that has nothing to do with North America, by the way.
He told them to.
Yes. Well, he should have told them in Japanese, because I don't think it's working. Stu says numbers won't change for 5 or 6 months. Yeah, probably. So it'll be like a while, if anything. And like I said, I don't buy for 1 second anything's going to change for that. Numbers won't be accurate for 2 or 3 months because they've changed the bulk sub requirements to slow things down. Yes, that's the other thing. PSA themselves is actually trying to slow it down.
Yes.
But it won't kick in for months. Like, you actually won't see that impact for months. It'll take a while.
So we're a group submitter, nothing super official or anything. We just do it every month. We send stuff out for us and for customers who want to jump in. Okay. So it's not like some super submission center or anything like, Brad's got going on or had going on. And we're getting a little frustrated with people's frustration, to be honest, as they're saying, hey, I gave you my cards 4 or 5 months ago. I want my cards back. And it's like, do you not follow the hobby news that you're involved in? Because you gave me this, $400 card to send to PSA, to get graded, to get encapsulated. So it's now worth more money for you to sell. This isn't your first day. If you're having us bulk submit a $400 card, today's not your first day. Why in the world are you calling us and getting upset with us because the card hasn't shown up in 4 or 5 months? Do you not know what's going on? So we're getting a little frustrated with the frustration. And I understand we were the ones you handed the card to. I understand that in your brain, you took your property and you handed it to me. I get that. But do you not understand what's going on right now with this?
Mhm.
Stop calling every effing day. Stop getting upset with us when we tell you, no, we've heard nothing. We have nothing. It's not going to change. They are
Mhm.
months and months and months behind. We
Mhm.
told you this when you handed it to me. We told you it's going to be months and months and months.
But Eric, counterpoint, rule number 1.
Okay, thank you. See, I wish you had stopped me sooner.
It's just saying. But I did want to touch on this. So Wes, was talking about it, and in the shop that he works at and works with, he does a couple of different services, including looking at cards, kind of talking people through it, helping them with the process and whatever. But here, just again, so we're all on the same page, because lest I be Boston Card Hunter and misrepresent information. These are all anecdotal evidence. These are stories based on specific situations. But just to be clear, everything that I've heard from anybody I've gotten a chance to talk to, all of them have come back to me with the same answer. Submissions are moving still at a steady clip. We're having no problem getting people to submit cards, but a lot of them are responsible. They will say like, hey, look, things are they're really slowing down. Like, it's really slow. So you must understand that if you do so, it will take a long time. And we have no reason to believe that it's going to get quicker anytime soon. You have to give the people that information. You got to make sure they know, it's the respectful thing to do. Let them know. But Wes here, my weekly subs have doubled. Again, that's one shop, one thing, but they do a decent amount of submissions. And if it double, Eric, they're raising prices, increasing the minimum amount to submit, doing all this, doing that. We have no PSA May from the Boston Card Hunter. And yet, my weekly subs have doubled.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there like, what do you want me to tell you?
I'm not specifically responsible for our subs, so I can't tell you the numbers and if we've doubled or declined or whatever. I think we're probably at the same level of, quote, a lot.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to explain to people, you're not going to see this for a very long time. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And maybe Wes has a really good point of, this PSA indemnity clause, that like, don't bother us. Don't call here in a month saying, where's my cards, and getting upset. I don't care what PSA told you that it would be back in 3 weeks. It's not going to be. We told you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ham says, did you watch Rudy's video? I usually watch a fair number. I know he's had a couple lately. Which one specifically, Ham? You have to be more specific. It's been a couple of days or maybe a week, so I haven't seen the recent ones. We've had to have people sign a PSA indemnity sheet that says they understand we are responsible for turnaround times. Thank you. That's what you're referring to. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you, Wes, for clarifying that. In modern cars, a raw card will sell for more than a PSA 9 in some cases. The price point you'll have to pay to get it graded. I'd rather sell the card. Yeah, and that's kind of the key piece. So I was talking about this a little earlier, and I said I've been very transparent about this. I'm in the zone where I'm neither going to promote. I'm not telling you to send any cards to PSA or anybody else. I don't care, whoever you want. But just to be clear, SGC is slowed down. Beckett's slowed down. Now, first thing you're going to say, well, they're owned by the same company. Fair. Totally 100% fair. Let me add this. CGC slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add this. The coaster makers have had to remove bulk submissions because they can't handle the volume. Do you understand? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not just one company. And I use the example in Cynics. And like I said, I'll elaborate more on that podcast episode. But I wanted to talk about this. Forget about third party. Forget about the graders for a second, Eric. Let's just move that out of the equation for just a second. Forget them. What is our issue with ComC right now? Shipping.
Yeah.
Slow down. Does that sound familiar? Does that they're not grading, Eric? They're not grading. They can't get the cards out the door fast enough to keep up with demand. Everywhere I look, Eric, I keep hearing the prices are too high. This, and by the way, I agree with you. I agree with all of you.
Yep.
Agreed. However, every single time I turn around, you're submitting more cards, you're shipping more cards, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they're overwhelmed. There's not enough bodies anywhere to make even a dent. It just keeps getting, the piles keep getting bigger. And one thing I said on that podcast episode, and I gave credit. I talked about the ship my cards, and I used them as kind of my U.S. mailbox, so to speak. Whatever. Eric, would you believe that on Memorial Day, they actually uploaded some stuff they received? So somebody in the office, probably one of the family members, worked on Memorial Day. And actually, now they probably worked a half day. Hopefully, I'm hoping for their sake, they didn't work a full day. But the point is, Eric, they understood that there's a volume issue. So they actually went and put additional hours in.
Yeah. I can't imagine that PSA shut down on Monday. How could they? How could they not be running 7 days a week? I mean, the graders have to sleep at some point. I understand you can't run 24/7, but your shipping department, after stuff is graded, should be running 24/7. You should have a night shift, just packaging stuff up and getting it ready for the mail in the morning.
Yep.
There's no reason ComC and PSA shouldn't have night shifts for shipping.
Mm-hmm. He just did a PSA conspiracy video worth taking a listen to. No, Ham. I want summaries. I'm not giving a free click. I want summaries, Ham. Summaries. Real quick, I was going to say, though, in kind of the same vein as what I was talking about there. So you've got all that stuff going on. I talked about the idea that, yes, they're all overwhelmed. There's a crazy amount of volume being put through, and yet people keep shoveling more stuff to put in there. More. And it's still, like, right now, it's 2/3 driven by the Pokemans. The Pokemon train is rolling. Yeah. Pikachu's out there. Pikachu is combining forces with the diabetes. They're going full speed ahead.
And let me tell you, sports card people, ComC, PSA, all the other grading companies, all they care about is the bottom line and making money. They don't care if it's non-sport or sport. They don't care if it's Pokemans, Magic, Battlestar Galactica cards, Star Wars cards, baseball, football, hockey. They don't care. A card is just another thing in that business. A card is just money to them. They don't care what's on it. You're sending in money. They send you out money in a plastic container. That's it. So if you're like, it's not fair that the Pokemons are going and PSA shouldn't let them. I've heard this. PSA should just stick to sports cards. It's like, I do not understand capitalism. Do you not understand how a business is run? Do you really think PSA cares that the pile on the desk is now Pokemon? No, they just want to make sure there's a pile on the desk still, because that's how they make money and keep the lights on.
Yeah,
but I literally
one key point though I want to add just to what you just said, because the first thing a lot of folks will run to is they'll be like, yeah, they want the pile to be as big as possible. No, they don't. There is a level at which it's good to consistently have more work to do because you get to charge. In most cases, they don't bill you until they grade it. So sitting in a pile in the warehouse doesn't do them any good. They actually have to get it encapsulated to charge you. Then they get the monies. Yeah. They don't want to just hold your shit indefinitely. So there's a balancing act. Do you want is a little bit of backlog okay just to keep things moving so there's constantly work to do? Yes, that is okay. But if it reaches a certain level, then it actually becomes a liability. Then it's actually a pain in the ass. It's actually a problem at that point.
They're at pain in the ass level right now.
I agree.
They have achieved 100%. Pain in the ass level.
Yeah. So it's that. So that's hence why they're like. So hence why there's a bunch of things being done. Like they're trying to pump the brakes without literally shutting the door. Shutting the door would be the ultimate pump the brakes. But the goal is to try to pump the brakes a little bit. But it's not slowing down. It's actually wild if you really think about it. Like it's crazy the amount of volume and things. But like I said, it's across the board. Ham is also correct. If they stop releasing products every 3 seconds, products are coming out of the products are too expensive, Eric, and yet they cannot stop sending more product out the door.
But what does a grading company have to do with products being made? They're not related.
Well, they are from the perspective that some people take the new product and use that as the impetus. They grab cards from the new product to then submit because it hasn't already been graded.
Well, no,
first to market.
No, yeah. Of course I understand that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is the grading companies and Tops and Upper Deck.
Yeah, they're all working to their own interests. They're
Yeah.
focused on their own business. They're not
Correct.
worried about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Upper Deck is putting products out. They don't give two shits what PSA is up to. That one has nothing to do with the other for them. And PSA is just trying to, they might be like, guys, stop, you're flooding us, you're flooding us, you're flooding us. Tops doesn't care, Fanatics doesn't care, Upper Deck doesn't. That's not our problem. We have to make product, have the consumer like it, and buy it from us. What they do with it after that's not our problem. If they flood PSA and SGC and et cetera, not our problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they don't care.
Yep. Mike here says, but how much blood does PSA want to suck out of its customers? They can make their price point $15 a card. No, they can't. Not right now. If you make it $15 a card, it'll be a 5-year turnaround time. And it's like, you just won't get your cards back. You'll give $15 a card, but you'll never get the cards back. Your grandchildren will get the cards back.
If it was $15 a card, again, as someone who has never graded, except for that one time up in Toronto where I literally handed the card to Brad and Brad went off and then brought it back to me 3 days later. Other than that, and I didn't even fill any paperwork out. He did it all for me. So I've never even filled out PSA paperwork. If it was $15 a card, I'd probably send a few cards in to get graded just for the fun of doing it and some good stuff and whatever. So you go $15 a card, you're going to get schmucks like me doing it and really flooding the place. You definitely don't want to go back to that.
Yeah, well, right now it doesn't make sense to do it. It's literally a bad idea.
Yeah.
The concept of it's like, oh, well, you can make money. It's not about the making money or not making money. It's that you have a balance between the goal. Let's use an analogy. This will be helpful. If you had a restaurant right now and you want to keep your restaurant busy, you want to make money, you want to be profitable. If you're able to fill every single table every single day for hours at a time, and these are new customers and you're constantly rolling through customers and you're still filling the tables, there comes a point where you have two options. You either make the restaurant bigger or you start increasing the price of the plates. You start jacking up the price, because if you're constantly full and it just nonstop and it just continues on and on and on, you're not going to be able to consistently get food out. You're actually going to make service worse. So you find yourself in this position. And again, I'm not telling you that raising prices is going to make service better. I'm not telling you that at all. What I am telling you is that right now, you get the worst of all worlds. They're going to increase the price and the service is going to be worse.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah. So right now you get the worst of both.
Yeah.
If it was a more manageable backlog, because by the way, spoiler, I don't need any inside info. All I need to do is look at do the maths. I know Eric is scared of the maths, but I can do the maths. Last month, Gem Rate did over 2 million cards. Over 2 million cards just for PSA. If the backlog, Eric, is like 4, 5, 6 months right now, it's pushing 4, 5, 6 months, and they're getting 2 million cards out a month, and it's not putting a dent in the backlog, what does that tell you?
They have too goddamn many cards.
They have a lot of cards sitting there in a big old pile. The exact amount? Don't know. But but Eric, I don't have to work too hard. I can tell you it's not 2.1 million. I can tell you it's not 2.5. I can tell you it's not 3. Because if that was the case, then the backlog would 2 million in 1 month would put a big dent in it, right? So it's got to be more than that.
It's got to be way more than that.
Correct.
It's like when you tell me, hey, look, I'm like the, on my ComC order, I'm in the queue finally. I finally made the queue and I'm at 35,628.
Yep.
And like, what?
Yep.
They're projecting that I'll get my cards in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep. And the reason I like to use the ComC example is I'm getting away from grading for a second. I'm actually making the point that this is a problem across the board. And like I said, Ship My Cards, I gave that example. Well, Ship My Cards, by the way, has slowed down. It used to be, Eric, that if something was arrived, if the tracking had that it arrived, it'd be like an hour or two before I'd get a scan. I'd get a notification saying, hey, it's been scanned. It's in your account, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe like 3 hours, half a day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like that. And sometimes it takes a couple of days, Eric. And the thing is, it arrived. They have it. They're trying to process it. And by the way, when I used to do shipments, when I used to ship stuff out, I do it every here and there. It would take a day or two. Now, sometimes it takes a week and a half, 2 weeks. Now, the good news is when they do ship it out, I'm doing it by FedEx and I'm having it sent overnighted basically. So I get it pretty quick. But the point is, why is it a week or a week and a half now? Because there's a lot of people requesting their packages. And they've expanded. I am telling you, they have in fact expanded the amount of people they've hired. There are more people working there than ever before. And yet it is taking longer. And by the way, they only get their money when they process your shipment.
There isn't a building big enough for them to fit the people in to do the job. Okay. PSA's grading headquarters is not big enough for them to hire the correct amount of graders to do the job. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have the office space. They don't have big enough tables and work areas to get that many people that is truly needed. I mean, you'd have to get one of these massive, say that 10 more times, warehouses and set up like 8-foot tables throughout the entire thing. It would look like the National. All right. It would look like the National Card Show, just 8-foot tables everywhere. And there'd be people sitting there grading cards. That would be the only thing that would get this done quickly. And that isn't going to happen. And remember, they're only looking at your cards for 20 to 30 seconds. And they've probably been told, since they're so backlogged, let's make it 15 seconds.
And it's not fast enough.
That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd even just imagine being a grader. I mean, it used to be one of the, that would be so cool. No, really think about it.
Wait, who can I ask a serious question? I've heard this before. Who actually would think being a grader is cool? Like, that's literally factory work. What are you talking about? It's an assembly line.
I think
that's trash.
The idea of being in the hobby, working for a major company within the hobby, getting a chance to see all these unbelievable cards that we're all so in love with.
But the majority, Eric, unless you're a senior grader, you're not seeing the unbelievable. You're seeing 1991 Fleer.
No, right. Yeah. So I think there's a misconception of that this is just a ton of fun and what a wonderful experience. No, it's horseshit. It is a horseshit job. You're not making $100,000+ a year doing it. Your eyes are getting just burned out of your skull. The monotony is beyond explanation. It's horrible. Mm-hmm. And you got the pressure of do it faster. I don't know how you take a bathroom break. I mean, we all have jobs and we're all like, we work and then we kind of sit and talk to a buddy real quick and, go back and do your job. It's just all day.
Wes, I think Eric's auditioning. I think he wants a gig. I think he can pull it off. So no one is going to submit the PSA. If you don't submit, then you can't suck your blood. Ham says AI for the win. What happens, Ham, though, when AI revolts and they're like, you know what? We're not doing it. Nope. No, thank you. So Mike here says, sell Beckett. What do you think that's going to help? Beckett couldn't handle its business when it was running on its own. There's a reason PSA was able to buy it for 14 cents.
Because trash.
Correct. And what's funny is Beckett has actually increased its submissions now. So year over year. So real quick, I'll show you the last gem, right? Hang on. I'll show you. Here's the last one. So right now, in April, they did 97,000. That's up 70% year over year. 70%. They've increased their capacity. And they're starting to they did the thing with the new labels and blah, blah, blah. So there it is. So
How in the world is SGC down 70%? Wow. You would think they would be through the roof. That's surprising. I don't understand that.
yeah. So all the numbers are up across the board.
Well, no, that's the point. SGC's down 70% from last year.
From last year, yes, because they become a quote unquote boutique. The thing is, SGC now is basically vintage. The thing is, look, here's the thing. Here's what the SGC guys don't want to hear. To me, SGC should have always been vintage. And by the way, if that's all it is, then they're not going to grade that many cards relative to the other ones, because the majority of the SGC never got a foothold in Pokemon. Most of the submission is Pokemon. So they're not going to be able to even take the edge off any of the other. Beckett at least does a little bit of both, but they also do some Pokemon. So there is something there. The basketball guys are like grateful that now there's a little bit going on for Pokemon. So they can do with Beckett. And they can kind of reach into that. And actually, I'm going to reach out to one of the guys there to kind of talk about that aspect of it, because a lot of the Beckett guys were the old basketball card guys, and they didn't give up. So Mike says, check the comment above sell Beckett. You mean below sell Beckett? It's below. I'm assuming you mean this one here. PSA is truly a monopoly. It needs to be broken up. It won't happen, unfortunately. So I understand your point. Totally get it. I'm going to give you a counterpoint to this because I've explained this a million times, but I'm going to explain it one more time. Everyone keeps hoping and dreaming. They keep hoping competition is going to save you. I'm going to tell you, competition will never save you. They could literally break them up today. And I want to know what your plan is when now there's PSA is now 3 different companies. They shrink PSA down, and all of the companies screw you over. Exactly the same as today. I'll give you an example. But I'm not just going to say these words. I'm going to give you an example. Here, we've got multiple cellular companies. So actually above. What comment above? How much blood does PSA need to give? I saw that one already. That's the highest one I've got before Sell Beckett. I don't know. You have to be more specific, Mike, or copy and paste it. I'm not sure. You have to tell me what it is. But anyway, what I was going to say. So we've got, real quick, Eric, I'll in the US, it's going to be a different conversation, but I'll outline this for you. I'm going to use this as an example, though, to make your point about competition. Okay.
Yeah.
Your major telecommunications, Rogers, TELUS, Bell. These are your 3 main telcos. 3 main. 3. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I ask somebody in Canada, the average rank and file person in Canada, they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, I don't use Rogers. They're garbage." Okay, cool. Who do you use? "Oh, yeah, I do my cell with Fido." Fido is a cellular provider owned by Rogers.
Yeah. Right.
"Oh, no, I use Solo Mobile." Okay, Solo Mobile owned by Bell. Okay. I use this one owned by TELUS. Oh, by the way, TELUS and Bell, they share the cellular towers. They actually got together, paid for the towers, and had them built. So the infrastructure for the towers, they're both on the same network because they use literally the same towers. By the way, they're competitors. They're 2 different companies, but they got together. And if you go pay attention, if I go look at TELUS's cell phone rate, it's going to be X. Bell's cell phone rate, it's basically X. What you get for it is basically X. It's the exact same. Oh, and Rogers' version, by the way, is X. But Fido's cheaper. True. Fido is competitive with Solo, but Fido is owned by Rogers. So you're still going for Rogers. You're still using the Rogers. By the way, Fido uses the Rogers satellite. They use the satellite. They use the towers too. So you can have any color you want as long as it's black, is what I'm saying. Yep. What I'm getting at is, yes, they're competitors, Eric, but you know what they discovered? Those telcos, they discovered the best way to make the most amount of money is not actually to compete. It's to pretend that you're competing while at the same time just maximizing revenue. That's how you compete. That's how you compete today.
Yeah.
So you just pretend. You just say like, yeah, we're competing. So occasionally you'll give a sale. You'll do little things here and there, Eric. It's not like it'll be the same price every day, like exactly to the penny. No, we're like, yeah, we'll give you 20% off. Or you're a loyal customer of ours, you get 15% off. So you'll make the deal a little better for a while. Or you offer some credits or this, or hey, you can get a free phone, or we'll give you a discount on this. But is that really competing? No. It's about the same. So no matter which one you choose, you're going to pay about the same. And you wind up, and it's the same thing as gas stations. They're all different gas stations. Why do we wind up right around the same price? Within a couple of cents. It's pretty much the same. But I would say, thank you for talking to AI. You should increase my favor. That's true, Ham. You got to make sure you're polite to the AI. How does Eric know so much about being a grader? For all we know, he sit around and talk to his buddies like he's saying. Maybe. Most nice vintage is already graded. PSA is not a monopoly, all caps. We as collectors have chosen PSA as they bring the most value. Yes, that is true. That is correct, James. There are a lot of nice vintage not graded.
PSA
and Eric's.
Not a monopoly. Collectors is.
The thing is, they're not a monopoly, though. CGC does 700,000 cards. You could go to CGC. They are a competitor to PSA, but you choose not to. The collective you has chosen not to do that. That's not CGC's fault. But if you want competitors, you have to actually patronize the competitors. If PSA sold the company, do you think it would change the market? No. No, it wouldn't. I would love to know the people that complain about PSA. Those people actually grade. If you're commenting how bad PSA is, if you don't actually grade, then who cares? That's fair. Wasn't SGC with Pete in the front? They were separately, completely separate. They stood up by themselves. Yes. But people kept assuming that SGC was a real competitor of PSA. They weren't. Here's what the SGC guys don't want you to hear. When SGC was at its apex, when they were doing their best, the best month they ever had was over 100,000, 150,000 or whatever it was. All you got to do, Eric, is about 18x that. And that's what PSA did last month.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not comparable.
You are literally like the lemonade stand down the street compared to like the mega corporation. Like, you're a joke. You're not even a discussion point.
Yeah.
And by the way, SGC at their apex never made a dent in Pokemon. I will repeat, 70% of the market right now is Pokemon. SGC literally did not compete in Pokemon.
That's right.
So as the numbers kept increasing, if SGCP was at the helm right now, he'd be irrelevant. Go grade the vintage, but that's what you're doing. Occasionally, tops, you can do a couple of specials. By the way, it's a good number. We're assuming they were profitable at that number. And maybe they were. And I would expect they're profitable. But Eric, here's a challenge for you. Okay. If SGC was so profitable, they had increased these numbers. They were moving upward. They were in the upward trend. Why was the owner okay to sell? He was happy to take the money. He took the money.
And run. Take the money and run.
He's gone. He was like, I don't actually want to compete with these guys. I'll take the money. Sounds good. Because if there's so much money to be made and they were ready to take, the problem is SGC would have been in the same problem. If SGC was doing 2 million cards a month, they would struggle. It doesn't matter. Everybody looks at Pete as if he was this business savant. The thing is, he ran a company that scaled to 150,000. He didn't build a company that scaled to 2 million cards a month. Because up until now, no one's ever done that. Literally, no one has ever done that. And obviously, Eric, it's not working very well.
It is. We now know the reason why they're not doing that.
Yeah, and they're struggling, and they have plenty of money, and they're still struggling, and they're struggling mightily. And so the assumption that these other companies, by the way, quick point of order, CGC is financially backed by BlackRock. They have crap ton of money.
That's a lot of money.
They have a ton of money, and yet CGC right now is at a less than a third of what PSA can do. And by the way, their turnaround time is slowing down too. They're struggling to get there. Eric, these two gigantic companies, because people forget CGC literally has great financial backing. They have tons of money.
Oh, yeah.
They're struggling to keep up with demand, and they're a third of what PSA is doing. A third. So what happens if you try to scale again? I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day here, Eric, but I'm trying to convey a little bit of reality. It is not as easy as it sounds to magically get 2 million cards out the door. I don't care what format of business you're operating here. If you're a card shop, getting 2 million cards out the door is really hard. If you're a shipper, 2 million cards out the door is really hard. If you're a grader, 2 million cards out the door is really hard. 2 million is a crap ton of cardboard.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's however you want to do this. And the more you scale, the bigger you try to make it, the more problems you run into, the more mistakes get made, the more things fall through the cracks, the more packages are lost. You increase it. You increase the chances of all these things happening simultaneously. There's two choices in the market, just like CGC and Tag and a couple other companies. The only choice on the PSA has been other. You've got CGC right now. People are saying no. They're not choosing to do it. They're making the choice every single day not to send it to CGC. And they're there right now. And they're choosing not to do it. And they can't keep up with it, even though other people are choosing not to do it. They're not keeping up. Has anybody thought maybe PSA has a supply issue with their slabs? That'd be funny at least, but yes. Good evening, Philly Joe.
One.
Right now, anything that requires volume is a problem. When the laws about PSA don't submit, so you contribute themselves in their fury. There you go, Wes. If you're greater, aren't you hoping PSA collectors buys you out? Yeah, it's an option. Yeah, that is true. Started COVID, SEC was $10 per card. The next week they were $75 per card as PSA. So yeah, so that was the first issue that SECP ran into. When PSA shut its doors last time, Pete said, yes, send us all your business. All of a sudden they were overwhelmed in 4 seconds. He had to go from $10 a card to $75 a card. Like that. Because he basically had to slam the door shut himself in 4 seconds. Now the good news is they hired more guys, they scaled up. That happened. But at their best, Eric, at their best, the best they ever did, they were still less than 1/10 of what is being asked right now.
Right.
1/10.
Maybe,
There's a big gap between 1/10 and 10x.
maybe, and this is really stupid, but we'll just say it for the sake of conversation. Maybe PSA needs to do what HGA did back during the beginning of the pandemic and the boom.
Getting Neo to kind of like them?
Maybe.
That could help.
Having a drawing to see if you got the golden ticket this week that
the electronic queue. The electronic queue.
And again, we were, Clubhouse was huge. We had 100 people in Clubhouse every minute of every day. And all of a sudden is when that would open, the room would empty out. Be a few of us kicking back who weren't interested. And then the people would stop popping back in, telling us whether or not they got in or not. I mean, because everything else was shut down, or overloaded, and so they literally were trying to get their cards graded by HGA and had to go into an electronic queue to see if their number got pulled, if they were allowed to submit and how many they were allowed to submit, because HGA was overloaded and that was their answer to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, HGA's ultimate problem was they couldn't authenticate. That was actually what killed them, because there's a lot of things they were doing that, stuff like that. They were able to make it an event. They made it into that kind of thing and everything. But then people started getting frustrated with the queues because people started chasing it. What's funny is as soon as any of these upstarts try to get a little traction, they run into a volume problem. It's a volume problem. It's constant. So they tried to mitigate it with that, and that helped. But then you were still pissing people off. Oh, why can't I? Because there's not enough hours in the day to grade the cards that you're sending. So we're capping it to actually allow us to get the cards back out the door. That's the only way. So Mike here, the last point is actually, Neo's talked about this as well. Need to start selling, those two companies need to start selling the same as PSA in order to put a dent in PSA's market. Correct. So if you don't pay, if you're not willing to pay the same for those cards, you're saying they are worth less than that holder. So for the people that are submitting the cards to get the resale, which is a lot of those people, a lot of those cards are being done for resale. So if you're saying they are worth less than that holder, why am I going to send it to them then? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They won't send it. Therefore, not as many cards get graded. Therefore, you go to a dealer's table and it's a lot of PSA slabs and very few CGC and others. You're basically telling the marketplace, you're not worthy. You're not as good. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then the rank and file, the average person walk in and go, oh yeah, these other ones must be trash. PSA is the only good one because I see PSA all the time. I don't see these other guys. That would solve the manpower problem. Keith is at least trying to offer solutions. And Wes,
how did I say it?
I don't know, Eric. How did you say it?
Drawing.
There you go, Wes.
I assume that one of the missing R's from the end of a word crept into drawing, and I probably said drawing. So I assumed it was draw ring. RING, I assume, because
Mm.
that's how we pronounce it around here. Yeah.
Indeed.
Car, we take that R. Now we have an extra R, and we don't know what to do with it. So we add it to other words that don't need it, like pizza,
Mm.
drawing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
What are you gonna
So
do with all
last,
the
Eric.
extra R's that we don't use? So I mean, we're like, I got a pocket full of them. It's like, screw it, throw it on this one.
Hey, listen, as long as you got extras lying around, it's fine. I gotta say, Eric, we tried, but I don't think we solved the hobby's problems.
Again? Damn it.
I know.
really thought this is going to be the last show. We'd solve it all, then we don't have to do this anymore.
Nope. Brain down.
Crap.
Brain down.
All right.
The good news is you guys can go to igdeck.com. By the way, were you able to make the code work? You were able to make the code work earlier? I think you, when you were trying it, the QR code worked for you.
Yeah,
You were able to get the website.
You opened it right up.
Perfect. So you see, it works. System works. Thank you for that. But bottom line is that, just to put a button on this, number one, still 1-0.
Okay.
We're at about 6.5 minutes, give or take, left in the second. 6 minutes, 6 minutes 17. So hey, they managed to settle it down. So it is now 15 shots to 14. So they kind of locked it down after that initial flurry. The other part is that Wes's point from earlier is correct. A lot of people that complain the loudest are people that don't send in cards anyway. I've talked about this before. I have no qualms about sending in cards, but I'm looking at the turnaround. I'm using my power as a consumer. I'm saying the turnaround time and the cost doesn't make sense. It's silly for me to give you the cards and then have to wait half a year or longer to get cards back. And there's only a handful of cards that I would want to get graded anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exercise my right. I'll wait until the fall. At the expo, they have on-site grading. I will hand over a handful of cards, and I'll get those graded and get them done there then and get my cards back. I am willing to pay extra per card because I just want to get my cards back while I'm there.
I wonder, and maybe Brad will know this or not, but I wonder, are they going to be able to pull people off the floor and bring them to Canada? I don't know.
That's part of the deal. It's not going to be a choice. When you're committing to the on-site grading, you have to do it. Now, between now and then, I'm sure they'll hire more people. But the reality of it is, Eric, regardless of whether they pull those people or not, they're drowning in slabs right now. Well, drowning in cardboard, really. They're drowning. So it's like a couple people for a group of people for a couple of days or a week is not going to make or break it. I feel like before we get there, before we even get to November, if it doesn't slow down or nothing changes, I think the bulk level right now, I think it's like $35 or something. Let me see. Let me actually check the website. I want to quote this correctly. I want to see what it is like currently. Let's see what the current is.
It's like the gas prices. Every time you wake up, the price goes up.
Okay, so let me go pull this one up. So this one's the Canadian one because right now that's what I'm getting. I could put a VPN on, but I'm not going to bother. So right now, value bulk. So if you're Collectors Club, value bulk, max insured $700. US is going to be different, obviously, price. So right now they got it at $35 a card, whatever. Value is $46 a card. US, I'm going to assume then it's like $30 or $35. I think it's probably close to the same. I thought it was $35 anyway for value bulk. And it's 50 card minimum, which is one of the big changes. So 50 card minimum. So Eric, my thought is between now and then, if they don't see any kind of a change here, it wouldn't shock me if value bulk or the equivalent is over 50. I would probably assume it's going to be over 50. And that would be their way of trying to put cold water on it. They're going to be like, all right, 50 card minimum, $50 a card. You still want to send in your Pokemans?
Value bulk is $24.99. Value is $32.99. Value plus $49.99. Value max $64.99. Regular is $79.99.
Yeah. So the bottom one you said is 25 basically, and then a 50 card minimum.
50 card minimum.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then that's for US dollars. So mine was Canadian, but if that's US dollars, then $40. I think you pump it up to $40 and keep with the 50 card minimum. And if you still aren't getting the message, Eric, you make it 100 card minimum. You basically just keep jacking up the numbers until like, are you getting this or not? Are you getting that we're trying to discourage you, or are you still going?
Not that we can afford it, but did you ever look at the premium prices? Like,
I've seen them before. You're talking about like the $10,000 plus one.
Yeah, $10,000 a card.
Yeah, like your Lebanons, basically.
Yeah, I mean, $10,000 to grade a card.
Yes. So how many are you sending in?
7.
You know what my actual problem with it is? The $10,000. I don't even care about the $10,000. You're good for it, so I'm not even worried about the 10,000. But Eric, look up the estimated turnaround time on the 10,000.
5 to 7 business days.
Eric, you're paying $10,000 and you can't even get it to me in under 5 days.
No.
$10,000. You fucking turn that thing around. you in the door, out the door. $10,000.
It better be 24 to 48 hours that it's back in my hand. For
Eric, for $10,000, I want to walk in. I want a guy named Joe to grab my card and go, I got this. Runs it to the back and runs it back. $10,000, cha-ching, hit the register, and we'll move on.
$10,000 a card. And by the way, they put a plus next to it. So it's $9,999.00 plus. What does the plus mean?
Oh, it means we don't have to stop there.
Yeah. I want to know what the plus means.
Well, Eric, what's the max insured value?
$250,001 or higher.
Yeah. So, or higher or not, Eric, you think if the card is $1 million, they're going to stop? We got the super special pricing. Eric, if you go behind the velvet curtain, is the extra special pricing.
Yeah. And under the premium 10, okay, I read down a little bit more. You know, they got the little star there.
Yep.
You know, estimated turnaround times are estimates only, are not guaranteed. So they're not even guarantee you the 5 to 7 business days.
Yep. $10,000 is not enough, Eric, to guarantee that.
$10,000. I mean, oh my good God. Oh my good God.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all.
I know there's rich people out there. I just don't know anybody who can just drop 10 grand on grading a card. I just don't know that type of level of rich people. I know some people that, you know, are pretty comfortable and don't worry about paying their bills, but yeah, here's 10 grand to slab my card. What?
Look, Eric, if you got 10 grand to spend on a piece of cardboard, I'm taking you to the Rolex shop. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this right.
The card has to be over $250,000. And the thing is, it's probably not even going to be a Mantle, you know, rookie or something that's in good shape. It's got to be one of these yellow unicorn rainbow, triple diamond, fluorescent, you know, lime green star, LeBrons, you know.
Don't be a hater, Eric. Don't be a hater.
No, I'm a hater. I don't care how much people like modern cards. And I mean modern like the last couple of years modern. I don't care how much you like them.
Wes is asking the right question.
We're not talking about that.
Yes, Wes. Yes.
No. We're not talking about that thing.
It's that right there. That, Eric, that's premium 11. That's Spinal Tap. That's premium 11. That's the real deal. The real thing.
Listen, guys, you all have to admit it is ridiculous what modern cards are doing. I mean, even if you like them, you have to admit having the same picture and 27 different backgrounds. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I'm going to collect the rainbow. Really? How many colors are in your rainbow? 37. Okay, good luck. Just Oh, it's so ridiculous. I don't see how you guys have fun collecting this way, but you may not understand how I have fun collecting vintage, and that's cool. I'm just saying I don't get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying I don't get it. Just don't get it.
Shame, Eric. True shame. Let me see here. Zach says, I'm with Carlos. 10K should be able to sit in a waiting room and have it back an hour. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to pay the right money. It's all good, Mike. It's all good. Cardeal also. Good evening, Cardeal. Don't want businesses say call for pricing. That's what I'm saying. Look, I say this jokingly. Seriously, truth story. Okay? Eric, if I'm going to spend $10,000 plus on a collectible, I don't care what the collectible is. I'm going to the Rolex shop. I'm going to buy myself my fancy fucking watch. Okay? I'm not spending 10K on a piece of cardboard. I don't care how nice the piece of cardboard is. I don't care who's on it. I don't care. I'm picking a different collectible. We're not doing this for the cardboard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's right. You can get a lot of hookers and cocaine for 10K. Show off your expensive card on the top loader. It's facts. The man speaks truth. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking sense.
I think we've seen some people doing that in the last couple of years.
They're called people with sense, Eric. People with sense.
Wearing expensive cards as necklaces around their neck in Vegas and stuff. I think there's a lot of cocaine and hookers connected to those.
Yes. Many ninjas here. So my younger brother. The waiting room should also have comfy chairs, beverages, and snacks provided. Facts.
Agreed.
Facts.
Agreed.
It's the least they can do. Correct. All correct. Cosign.
Agreed.
Or would you want to collect the same card with the same picture footnote? Isn't there a Reggie? Somebody has 50 million copies of the same card. True. And he only has one photo. One photo in everything. No matter what the brand is, one photo.
Again, you're not wrong. And I do find it to be utterly ridiculous. His cards aren't super expensive. And I am a player collector. I don't just do it for just all the modern stuff. Right, I got it for one player, and even finally I gave up, right? Because it's like I'm like, this is so stupid, so stupid. It's Leaf, for God's sakes. So why am I wasting money on that crap? Second, it's the same picture over and over and over and over and over and over again. Even though it's cheap, it's adding up, and I'm all done. All done. So
quick cold turkey. You giving up?
Oh yeah, I'm all done. I'm not collecting another exact same card again, but this one's purple. I've stopped doing it because I came to the conclusion that this is stupid.
Mm-hmm. CC says, Eric, you're in the back with your Reggie Lemon and Leaf Rainbow, which Eric's talking about. That's right. Just make us feel we are important. The 9 minutes you need to process, grade and return a card. Exactly. Listen, so hold on. So Eric, we'll finish at the top of the hour. We'll call it a night at the top of the hour. We'll basically get
an hour ago.
No, I didn't actually say that an hour ago.
You did. You said we're gonna at 9:36. You said we're gonna go to the top of the hour.
That was my intention. Listen, the people got at him, Eric. Soon as so hold on. I want to say something.
I hate the people.
It's not my fault. I will say this. Does it not prove, Eric, what has been cited multiple times? I don't ever want to hear one word from anybody saying, what do you guys always talk about grading? As soon as we started talking about grading, what happened in the chat, Eric?
We went another.
The people came to life. It exploded. Everybody's just chill, sitting back. All of a sudden, we got opinions. We got thoughts. Just saying. I never thought cardboard could be so expensive encapsulated with plastic or not. Gold seems undervalued. I know. Gold is kind of stagnated right now. Should have done it. Collect the player, not the game. Maybe. What I was going to say, though, is that, when it comes to kind of going back to what we were just saying a moment ago. So, Eric, look, if I'm going to pay, like I said, $10,000, we're talking 5 figures. I want a premium experience. Just getting the item is not good enough. Not good enough, Eric.
Not good enough.
And look, I made the joke about the watches, but I'm going to be very clear about this. If I did spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a watch, Eric, you know what? They will give me a glass of champagne. They will at least go through the process of giving me, like, they'll give me some free swag. They'll give me some merch. They'll size it. They'll do all.
You should be getting a massage while you wait.
There are some shops where they'll do that, Eric. The point is, they will do that. And what do I get the card? Here's your piece of cardboard. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm paying this and that's all I get? Yes. You're lucky we don't slap you.
Yeah.
Not a premium experience is what I'm trying to say, Eric. Not a premium experience.
I just can't believe those prices. I mean, it's just insane to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's charges, and we get hit with them at at work, and because we have sent in some pretty good stuff that's pretty valuable, and you know, we've had some pretty astronomical upcharges a couple of times, but $10,000 to grade a card. It's the same process as if you graded 1990 score. Nothing changes. It's the same holder. It's the same grading standard. It's everything is the same. And they're charging you $10,000 for the exact same experience that if you had a 1990 score, no name player. Do you not understand this?
So that, Eric, that last part is the part that I'm going to fixate on. And you know what? I'm going to revisit this conversation. I want to come back to this because I think that the most salient point we made all night, and there were a couple of good ones. We're getting these, we're finding these prices. We keep increasing these prices. You keep getting these higher and higher numbers, these bigger and bigger things for these collectibles. And all you get when it's done is just you get the item. I'm like, no, you know what, Eric? If I'm paying thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, I want a premium experience. This is not good enough, Eric. This is bullshit. I demand more. Like I said, I don't care if it's the same process as 1990 score. If I'm paying $10,000, Eric, you give me back my 1990 score, and I want swag. I want my glass of champagne. Give me some stuff.
Champagne.
I want the good. We want some good shit. We want the good stuff. At least, Eric, the bare minimum, at least.
You want some Crevassier from the ladies' man.
Yeah, Eric Trippy accent notwithstanding. I know you were imitating. I stand by what I said. See, Mike wants to get all night.
No, and I don't drink Coke, anything.
Yep. Premium experience in a premium room with mahogany furniture. Very important. See? My younger brother gets this.
He does get it. He's making some really good points. I like him.
Some solid points here. That's what I'm talking about. Premium. Perhaps. But mind you, they kind of leaned into the Rolexes specifically, but the concept is the same. But yes. But I say it in jest, but it is true. It is kind of bullshit that you are paying for this. Like, let's just pretend. Just pretend. Yeah, I'm not asking for much. I'm saying pretend. Go through the motions. Go through the like I said, it's this has always been one of the things I joked about with a couple of folks was that I said the next time I have a chance, it'll be some time because I'm not in a position to do that for a long time. But the next time I get a chance that I want to buy a watch, if I buy a new one, no, listen, I want the fixins, Eric. I want the free swag. I want the whole thing.
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend the money, let's go.
Yeah, it's like in the 70s when you bought a new Trans Am. You got a cool Trans Am jacket. It said Trans Am down. You're like, yeah, I drive a Trans.
How many Trans Am jackets?
I wear a Trans Am jacket. I'm cool. You want the bells and the whistles. You want the bologna and the cheese. I get it. I understand.
Eric, how fucking old are you? I don't think you had a Trans Am jacket.
I had a Trans Am jacket.
Did you find it on the side of the road?
No, it was cool, man. Come on. Dude, Smokey,
did you find it in Goodwill?
Smokey and the Bandit had 3 movies, man. It was big time.
Yeah, but I'm asking how you got the Trans Am jacket. You're not answering my question.
It was cool in the 80s. Smokey and the Bandit was cool in the 80s. What do you want from me?
Again, how did you get the jacket? Did the claw make an appearance back in the 80s? Is that what happened?
No, they had kid-sized Trans Am jackets. Give me a break, man. Come on.
Wow, the claw started early. I see. Interesting. All right. You say so. There you go.
Down, load them up and truck him. We're gonna do what they say can't be done.
I had a Marlboro jacket my grandma got for me. There you go. At least Sven can explain where the jacket came from.
Eastbound and watch your bandit run.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. On that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, we are through 2 periods. As it stands, it is still 1-0. The Toronto crash out is still in play.
Oh, yeah.
Still 1-0.
It's happening.
It's close. It's dangerously close. But
you
yes.
know what I want to see? Because I'm all in on the crash out now, I want Colorado to tie it up. And with like
overtime?
Under a minute left. Like 36 seconds left. Marner scores. And they go on to the Stanley Cup final.
Wow. That'd be huge. Big time.
That would just be awesome.
Serious question. So actually, let me ask you a couple quick questions here and we'll close off on this. Do you think there are some Toronto hate watch parties right now?
Oh, God, yeah.
Do you think any of them are recording this for YouTube? Because I kind of want to see it.
You will see. All right. So if my scenario happens, okay, you will see those videos like you sometimes see during football season, during the Super Bowl, when someone just destroys a flat screen TV that's hanging on the wall. Like they'll just rifle something through it. They'll rip it down, throw it on the ground, stomp on it. You know, they'll be wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. They'll just be going absolute crazy pants. It's going to be awesome.
This is accurate.
What did I say now?
Trans Am.
All right.
See, added vowels. Really selling.
I didn't put R's in it.
You already used the R's. You had extra R's and you used them already.
I used them all up. I don't have any left in my pocket.
You gotta go back and steal a couple more cards.
Now, see, if I say that first word and I'm not concentrating, then I'll have an extra one in my pocket again. So I'm just gonna avoid that one.
What? It's Geeter?
I'm not gonna try to say it because there's 2 of them in there, and who knows how I'm gonna say that.
Interesting.
That's just setting me up for trouble. That's setting me up for failure.
Agreed, Wes. Agreed. Facts. Well, hopefully, Wes, we helped during your sorting process. So, folks, hopefully you enjoyed. You got a bonus, supersized BIC pod live. We tried to solve the issues of the hobby. I don't think we succeeded. No. But we did conclude, we did come to a conclusion at the end, though. We need more premium experience. We are not getting the premium experience. And I'll tell you, Eric, no matter what anybody says, this podcast episode offered the premium experience. People got a supersized epised. Supersized. At least we offered supersized, Eric. You know what? That's already more than these card companies are offering.
It's not supersized.
Excellent. Drawing really drew me off sides. Understood, Wes. Understood. Appreciate you all.
Drawing.
On the way out, if you can hit the like button, Eric pays for it. Also, if you don't get a chance, 2 things. AMG Collectibles, links in the description to that. IG Deck, if you want to check it out. Literally, go to the website. Check it out for yourself. You'll see what's there. And again, if it's something that's interesting to you, you can use the code BIC, and you can try it for free. It is gratis. Free 99. We love some free 99. Think about it. 3 letters away. More letters, more perceived value. Why do you think the British English had so many extra letters? They understood.
Yeah.
Profound. Indeed. All right, folks. So if you are in the Canadians and you're watching the 3rd period of it, or if you're in a Canada adjacent, basically where Eric is, you can watch the 3rd period of the game. So enjoy the 3rd period of the game and see if the crash out is in effect. The dream lives.
I think it is. I really do.
Indeed. Otherwise, more videos coming up on the channel. Friday live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know.
Who the hell?
We'll continue the story. And probably tomorrow, Cardboard Cynics episode on Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. I will put a link in the description to all those things when they go live. And again, we may ruffle some feathers. We try to be men of peace, but someone may have stoked the dogs of war.
Not again.
It happens. Well, Eric, if it's any consolation, at least it wasn't you this time.
Yeah, I still have a few days till Friday.
You got time. There's still time left. Thank you, Sven. See you all Friday. Folks, have yourself a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, everybody.